Okay, now it says go live. Okay.
Go live.
Hello, everyone. We are now live. Daniel and I were just talking about bananas. So,
yes, Jesse, you started the stream late so that they wouldn't have to hear my singing, and I'm offended.
I thought you were singing so they didn't have to hear you.
No,
so
just
it was
kidding.
when I used to write for Zelda Dungeon. I don't know if the person, I think he went blind is the thing, and he could only see faint blurs and colors, like he couldn't see shapes or anything. And he remembered, like, Ocarina of Time was the only game that he basically studied, like we were talking about the speedrunning.
Right.
And he, from memory and sound, like in his head while he was playing it, he was like actually playing it just using the sound and just like the general color from the TV to know where to go and what to do, which I have almost not perfect vision, and I still take like 50 jumps to go down the spider web in the Deku tree, so I don't know how anyone else can do it.
What do you mean 50 jumps?
Because it's like I land and then it just bounces back up, and I'm like, oh, I guess I gotta run all the way to the top again.
What?
I don't make the rules.
That's because I do. I make the rules.
Oh, hi, Geek.
Hello, Geek.
So,
Welcome.
When you play Ocarina of Time, how many jumps does it take you to go through the spider web at the bottom? To go into the basement? And why does the tree have a basement? Shouldn't it be full of roots and stuff?
I mean,
How many jumps does it take?
Yeah, to break through the spider web.
You just roll off the thing.
Liar.
it's just one. Just one jump.
No.
It's just one, Jesse.
It
How
takes
could
me.
it be more than one?
How could it just be one?
Because it's called you look where you're going, and you jump in that direction.
Yeah, that. Sorry, I'm late. I was outside my apartment and I got distracted by a stray cat that was very affectionate and friendly.
That's a fair reason, actually.
I don't think you're the one who needs to apologize for being late.
What?
Yeah.
Also, we've been having a not roach but palmetto bug issue in our apartment, so there was a lot of like cleaning. Do y'all know what palmetto bugs are?
I've told Daniel 50 times he needs to start showering more, but he just doesn't listen.
So you know what a roach is?
I don't know.
Those tiny little things that only come out if you're like super dirty. A palmetto bug is very similar to that, but it's about this big. It's huge. It flies. It can fly. It is attracted to humid tropical weather, Florida. And unlike roaches, which come into your home because it's dirty, palmetto bugs come in because they can.
We are live, so you know.
What?
So what you're saying is they're evil. They're just evil.
Yes, I know in Bible the Satan is depicted as a snake. I'm pretty sure he's actually manifested as palmetto bugs.
That's fair.
That's my interpretation, that God actually put him in palmetto bugs.
Yeah.
Evil creatures.
They are disgusting, and they take forever to die.
$20 donation from.
Sorry, I didn't realize we were live.
No, you're fine.
Like that was good.
Bugs are totally Satan. I agree with that, because when I was little, I just said we had a $20 donation, and I kept talking about this. When I was, I forgot how old I was, but it was over the summer one year. We had a weird, like there was like a ladybug nest right outside the house, and they would just like all come in somehow, and there'd be like dozens of ladybugs.
Well, ladybugs are at least somewhat prettier, but the thing is, like,
when you have like
wasps don't serve a purpose, mosquitoes don't serve a purpose, ticks don't serve a purpose, and neither do palmetto bugs. Pretty much every other bug, though, it has a purpose.
All right, give
that one does not.
Give a one in chat if you think bugs are the devil.
Throw the ones in there. I can confirm that wasps are bad words that I'm not going to say, but especially because wasps will actually kill bees, and bees are just great.
Just trying to pollinate, you know? there are some species of like butterflies and such that can pollinate and stuff too. Wasps, I don't think really pollinate.
I don't think they do.
No,
I don't know about hornets. I got stung by a hornet once.
My elementary school mascot was a hornet.
Why?
I don't
Why
know.
would you want to be associated with that?
Ours was a jaguar.
Nice.
That's cool. Ours was the letter R. Just the letter R. That was our
Canada
school
would have
mascot.
a letter as a mascot.
I hated it.
No, so we got a $1999 million donation from NORNARB,
Wow.
or Brandon backwards.
The legend
It
himself.
says, just stopping by to say hi, I'll watch tomorrow. Go on with your bad selves. So he was the one who I put the trivia question in for just a moment ago. So the last trivia question is his. I think we can go ahead and get started, maybe?
I think so.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
I'm just stating that we're live.
No, we
on
are.
our
I
past
see.
Twitter.
Oh, okay, you're saying, okay.
I'm tweeting it. I'm putting on Twitter that we're live. That's all. That's
Where's
what I'm
Chubes?
saying.
Chubes
She
had...
No,
Well,
sorry.
I was going
That's
to be a
not
little
true.
bit more emotional about it, but... No, she is with her significant other taking care of his knee. Because he had
That's true.
surgery.
He did have surgery.
Yeah, so
Fun
all the well
stuff.
wishes for him. Yeah, so on today's Hylian Gamescast, it is episode 141. We're going to be talking about... Daniel's going to be talking about Metroid.
Oh.
True, because
Yeah,
I don't know anything about it
well, that's...
other than that weird Kotaku article. But that's about it.
we're going to be talking about some Zelda rumors, not necessarily any specific games, just crossover DLC stuff. Tomorrow, Geek is going to be streaming the Animal Crossing Direct live on her channel, so if you want live reactions from the queen of Animal Crossing, at least when it comes to this channel, then you can go over there.
I would say I'm the queen just because Tubes and I are both
Yeah. All right.
pretty
Princess, dual princesses, I guess. And then
darn. Well, I would say I'm younger, and then I realized I'm not the younger one. I'm a month older than her.
It's like a parliament of
There you go.
yeah.
democratically elected Animal
Yes.
Crossing.
And of course, you can go to Jesse's channel and watch all of the Twilight Princess videos he has coming along. And of course, I am Daniel, so nice to see you all.
What? What? Then who am I?
I just said Jesse, pay attention.
Oh, okay.
Definitely not.
So hi everyone. I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as you may know me, and welcome to another video. That's how all of Jesse's videos start. No, he says hello and welcome.
Yeah,
I messed it up.
I tried.
I
messed
have
it up.
so much
I'm tired.
trouble when I do voice work figuring out how to start, because my go-to is to go, hey y'all, and then I'm like, don't do that.
I used
Hey, y'all's
to.
good.
Hey y'all,
When I was
he's the geek apprentice.
when I was addicted
You should do
to
that.
Game Over Greggy's videos and Kind of Funny's videos, I just naturally started the way that he always started, or the people on that channel started, which is just like, what's up everybody? And then I started not doing that, and now I just don't know what I do. But let's
I
get
think too many people start with like, "What's up, guys? It's so and so," and what like they it sounds very inauthentic.
well, that's
I've started saying "hello, friends" at the start of all my videos.
I wouldn't say it was authentic from him, because the times that I've spoken to him, and then when we've talked to him in person, he is that energetic.
Oh, for sure. He is. I'm just
Yeah.
saying a lot of channels, start out that way, and it's just like no one's that excited about what they're.
Yeah,
okay, that's not
there's a
quite true.
few special people,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
HMK, like
HMK is a.
it was
He
E3.
is the hype man. That's what he's known
It
for.
was E3 one year. I forgot who it was, but they pointed over and he's like, I think that's HMK standing in line. And I looked over and he was just standing still, not talking or anything. He was just standing there, and I was like, no, that's not him. If that was him, he would be.
Although one year we saw him and then we didn't get a chance to go say hi because he was swarmed by people and we couldn't get close enough.
That is true.
Like actually surrounded by people wanting to talk to him and
That's
stuff.
insane.
And sadly,
We were just in line to get coffee like 10 meters away. So, I mean, I don't know what the
I'm trying
equivalent
to
to 2 meters is in American terms, but
I think
we
it was,
weren't that far.
I think it was Cliff that pointed him out for me
Maybe.
when he was in line. And then I think I sent him a message when we all had, what was it? Yeah, it was the night that all the Chamber of Sages people was like, Jesse, we need to hang out. And then that night I was like, okay, we can go to this restaurant. And then we went there and waited for like an hour. But it was everybody except HMK. And I think I sent him a message and was like, you need to be here.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah. But we had a $20 super chat. Oh yeah, I already read it. I thought it was a question. Okay.
It was just
statement.
awesomeness.
Yeah. So, first on the list, we're going to be talking about Animal Crossing since it's tomorrow. We have a Breath of the Wild 2 rumor asked by Cliff, and since we talk about rumors, I thought it was poignant to put on the list.
Plus, Cliff's a good egg.
Yeah, and then there's the Mario Party, Zelda, and other crossovers. I just have Zelda, but there was other games mentioned with it. And then something about a banana, and then Bad Kotaku, which we will
Bad Kotaku.
combine with Daniel's own review of the game that he's been playing, and I mean Jesse's own review of the game. Forgive me, I get kind of confused here. And then we will go into the trivia, which I think we have 12 or 13 questions this time, so it might be like 2 minutes longer than normal, but I had a lot of submissions for this one, and it's all focused on Ocarina of Time. So for everyone who has only played Ocarina of Time or doesn't have strong knowledge on all of the Zelda games, not everyone's played through Zelda 1 to the Link's Awakening remake, I suppose. So yeah, I thought it would be a bit easier for everyone. There's a few people that messaged me saying that it kind of works out because I was already going to do this, pick a certain game for Geek and Chiblima to be able to have a fair trivia challenge.
Watch me
with
still
us.
vomit.
And after I had already decided that and put it together, I posted that it was all going to be on Ocarina of Time on Twitter and some other places, and a few people messaged me saying that they would have loved to have joined and played with us, but because it was not focused on a single game, they thought there would be a bunch of questions they didn't know and just decided not to try. So hopefully this time more people will have fun with it. Yeah, so that's everything. And then after that, we will end with however many questions from the chat we can take. And yeah, so before we get to the Animal Crossing, a big thank you to ZAIN, FRAN, WIGGLYWIGGLE, NORNARB. That always gets confusing, even though I know it's Brandon backwards. David, Super NX64, Gus, Jesse, Shadow to Us, Christy, Natsu, BKRS7, Justin, Monica, Larulian, Androme, Rusty, Mr. Monocled Metroid. For the longest time I was saying Monoclad Metroid.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why autocorrect did that, but it did. Zoe, Candy, Ashton, Jin, Blargnar, Chad, SoberRX, Henry, and the new Patreon that I did not put on.
Jesse!
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What?
You failed!
It is Lorenzo. Yes. I didn't add them to the Google Doc, but they're added to the the page that I didn't put up at the beginning of this one. So starting off, Jessie, since you're the world's biggest fan of Animal Crossing, what do you expect?
This has gotten all sorts of mixed up.
For the direct tomorrow. I heard that Miyamoto was coming over to your house himself to not only show you all of the new DLC, but he was actually there last night and you had a sleepover and didn't invite us, where you played the original Japanese version of Animal Crossing on the Nintendo 64 disk drive. So how was that experience?
It was like a dream, probably because it was a dream.
It was Jessie. This was Jessie's fever dream. Is Miyamoto even behind Animal Crossing? Like, we can credit with him
Everyone's
with a lot of
behind
games,
Animal Crossing.
but I don't think.
Why would you not get behind Animal
What's
Crossing?
sad is I don't actually know the actual creator's name.
I think it was called Forest Animals. The original name.
Forest. I know the original on the GameCube is Animal Crossing Population Growing. We always forget that it's called Population Growing, but I actually have no idea. I know why the games were created. Like, the guy that had the idea for it, I know why he created it. But
yeah, Miyamoto was a producer, it looks like, but he didn't create Animal Crossing. No. Takashi Tezuka, Shigeru Miyamoto, Hisashi Nogami, and Katsuya Eguchi. I probably butchered all of those.
We all do.
Pronunciations.
It was one of those last two that, like, whenever he was working, he was far from his family, and he really liked the idea of, you know, kind of getting to interact and everything, and it was a fun thing for them to do. So that village idea was really, really cool.
Right. So. Didn't that spring up from, like, the idea of, like, was based around moving to a new city or something along those lines because he had moved?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always fun when games are like that. That's like Pokemon too. Was started from one guy.
Yeah, because he was a bug catcher.
Yeah. I wonder if he wore shorts because they were really comfortable.
What?
If that's from Pokemon. Never mind. When you in Pokemon and like in like Red and Blue, there are some bug trainer Pokemon, and then they'll be like, I like to wear shorts because they're really comfy. And that's just like what they say, and then you start a battle, and you're like,
okay, that's true.
Why?
I remember that when I was playing Let's Go Pikachu, there were things that they'd say, and I'm like, I know it's just our weird English translation, because like if we went verbatim what some of the Japanese is, it would be like little inappropriate, but okay. Although Germany sometimes gets their translations worse, which is so weird because that's a very strict country. Well, not very strict, but based on the people I know who grew up there. Very few. I only know like 2. But anyway.
I know when you mentioned the word Oma, that was the only word I knew, because Layla's grandmother, like on her other side of the family, is from Germany, and she learned to speak English from like watching TV and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Ich kenne Deutsch sprechen. That was not it at all. Meine Deutsch sprechen ist nicht so gut.
So Jessie, Animal Crossing.
Who are you asking? You're Jessie.
No, I'm Daniel.
No. Oh no.
Are you asking the blonde with the curly hair?
No.
Or well, actually, I don't think you use brunette to describe a guy's brown hair. Actually,
the one with glasses.
I think that's specifically me. We both have glasses.
This man really said the one with glasses.
The one with real glasses, or the one with blue light glasses. I'm wearing my blue light glasses right now.
The real glasses.
Okay, wait. What do I know about Animal Crossing? I'm not the.
What are you expecting for the direct tomorrow?
Well, it'd be interesting, to have your point of view, since this is your first one.
Okay, good point. Well, I'm not sure what to expect. I don't know a lot about the Roost or Brewster or the Brewster, but I'm excited to see that. I know that one of the Twitter accounts, one of the streams, like the Nintendo UK stream, had a different background for their Animal Crossing Direct that showed a little bit more of the cafe, but I think it would be cool to be able to have a more interactive element with it. I've heard, again, I never played the old Animal Crossing games, but I've heard that there was like things like remembering people's drinks and stuff like that. And I don't know, something more interactive like that could be cool rather than it just being like a shopping thing. Yeah, but I don't know what else. People are saying Matt said gyroids in the chat. People have been talking about gyroids, which is apparently related to the cafe. So I know Geek lives and breathes by the gyroids.
So does my mom and brother.
There you go. It's a familial thing, but yeah. So I'm not sure. I'm just kind of trying to set my expectations low, and see what. I'm trying to not go in with like a clouded bias sort of perspective. But I've enjoyed most of the other updates. But the thing is, a lot of them are like you do one day of fun stuff, and then it's like, okay, that was toy day, cool. Then now it's over, so I'm hoping for something that's a little more of a lasting mainstay impact rather than something that's just like a seasonal event sort of thing. So that's all I got, really. Yeah.
All right.
I do feel the same on the whole keeping expectations low. I don't mean this in a pessimistic way, but my brain is already planning on, yes, we're going to get the roost in the museum. And it's not going to be much different than how it was in probably a mix of City Folk and New Leaf, because New Leaf was where you could do the jobs and City Folk was where it was in the museum. But part of me is thinking like there's going to be some random season update and that's just going to be it. My hope would be for gyroids to return because he did have a connection to that, because I think there was around like 872 different types of gyroids. I mean, they're like in classes too. So it's like you have squat buzzoid, tall buzzoid, like different classes for each, and that's each its own one. But, obviously it's hard to store them all in your house. So you would store them with him and he would store one of each kind. So you could technically collect them all. Even the ones that I never wanted to use because they sounded horrible, but I wanted to have them. That way you're not digging up just fossils anymore, because that's all you can dig up right now is fossils. And it used to be you could dig up those, you could dig up gyroids, you could dig up pitfalls, or you'd fall into pitfalls. They would just show up randomly. There's a lot of things I would just love, but like I feel like I would just go on tangents of things that I have no basis for why I think that would show up, that I don't really have a specific expectation. But I did see that thing about the UK direct photo. That looks pretty much exactly how it looked when it was in the museum last time, but just like very much nicer. But like where you see Brewster, like just off normally was a stage and a few like lounge chairs, and that's where KK was. Which, speaking of Animal Crossing, my mom just messaged me that my stepdad bought 1 million turnips on Sunday. 1 million. And he's selling them for 372 bells.
Wow, good on him. that's he's turning a profit there.
Yeah, no.
Did he?
I don't know if it's 1 million turnips. She said he bought 1 million bells worth of turnips, and now he's selling them for 372 each. So he's making bank.
He's like tripling that. Good on him.
My stepdad has gotten into Animal Crossing.
That's great.
It's
That's
taking
awesome.
over the world.
Yes. There's someone that I'm trying to convince to play Animal Crossing, and he's very resistant to it. He's like, that's not my thing. And I'm like, it will become your thing.
Yeah.
It won't.
Yeah.
It won't. But
I didn't think I would be into it until I started playing it, and it just hooked. I got hooked. So, Matt in the chat said I kind of wanted Brewster to have his own building, and that's kind of
that would have been nice.
I definitely would have preferred that, just because I don't know. I kind of want more buildings, I guess. I've got a lot of space that I don't know what to do with, and so I've just like put like stuff there. But I don't know if I kind of want more buildings, to be honest. More shops, that kind of thing.
I want a whole new island full of shops.
Whole new island
that I can just swim to. Or ride a boat too. I mean, imagine if they brought Captain back. Well, there was this animal. I always thought it was a frog. Apparently, it's a kappa. That his name's Captain, and he had like a whole family. He had his own island that you would go to in New Leaf, and there were like a bunch of mini games and such, and you could get special items from him. And whenever like you rode in his boat and stuff, he would sing. It was really cute. He'd always talk about his fair maiden or whatever. Like he would the wee lassie. It was very Irish sounding, but it's supposed to be sailor talk anyway. Yeah, I would love for him to return. There's some special characters I still think should return. I think it would be plausible to think that they might finally give a bigger update to the Nook store, because right now it only upgrades once, and it used to upgrade to like this massive mall emporium thing with characters like Gracie Gray selling fashion stuff. Like it was a big deal. Yeah.
Hi, Daniel here.
You're confusing everyone, Jesse.
Yes. Yes, you are.
A friend on Twitter, I'm sure some of you all may know, Nintendo Fangirl says, I really don't want to overhype anything and leave anyone underwhelmed, but it does not take 20 minutes to announce Brewster and explain his role in the game. They wouldn't have created a separate direct if that was the only addition. There are more things being announced, and I said I require at least 52 minutes of Brewster before I can officially begin my day. So, Brewster aside, Geek, you had some interesting points that had nothing to do with Brewster, but Jesse, Mr. Glasses Man, what do you expect if you did get a little bit reachy or out there?
Reachy.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I don't have to remain realistic.
If you say the thing and say it's not realistic, I'm gonna be hurt on the inside.
Oh no.
I have faith in the Zelda stuff.
It's so hard to see for Animal Crossing. It's hard to even make an educated guess, even just because I don't have the sort of basis of knowledge that I do for, say, like Zelda, right?
Right.
I think gyroids might actually be a thing, just because it's it's not just Geek, carrying the torch for that one. It's definitely a highly requested thing, very highly requested. So actually, that is I think a pretty realistic ask. But really, there's just like small quality of life changes that I would like to see that like are more just
add to cart.
The base game. Add to cart.
Add to cart.
That's, you knew where I was going.
It's so simple.
Yeah. It really is, and it's like other games let you do that. So I don't see why you can't for Animal Crossing. I don't know. It's
craft and paint 5 things at once.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. If you've got like enough materials, it should give you a counter. Like, how many do you want to craft this?
Yes.
Thing? So I don't have to stand there making the same spooky lantern a bunch of times over, right? So I don't know.
Yep.
If I were reaching, I would say, and I think we talked about this last week, add like a planetarium sort of room to the museum for Celeste to run, for her to sort of permanently stay at. I think Leaf should also have a permanent spot on the island. I think some characters like Label, for example, she doesn't need to have a permanent spot. I'm just fine with her showing up every now and then. Same with even like Savannah, but some characters like Leaf, I think it'd be better just to give them their own spot. And even Kix, you could give him like even just move his stall into Able Sisters and just leave him there, and his stock could rotate.
Kix used to have his own place. In City Folk, he was in the city, in the streets. He would shoe shine, and that's how you got a different colored shoe. And then in New Leaf, he had his own place next to the Able Sisters, and LaBelle was actually there and she ran like the accessories part of it, and then in City Folk she was with Gracie Grace, who's like a top fashion designer thing, but I think she left Gracie Grace. Yeah, she does her own stuff. And then Leaf was a part of the big expanded Nooks.
I see.
He had his own spot.
I think with is it Label or Labelle actually? Is
It depends. I think her original name was Label, and like in one game she'd be like, "It's not pronounced like that. It's Labelle," and then now she's like, "Whatever."
Okay, so she had a pretentious phase. Haven't we all?
Able sisters, Sable, Mabel. So it sounds like it should be Label, but she wanted to be all fancy when she worked for Gracie Grace, so she was like Labelle.
Okay, that makes sense. But something I was thinking would have been cool, like to, because honestly, when Label shows up, I don't care. I almost always.
Me either.
And something they could have done to sort of incentivize actually interacting with her would have been for like, if you did like a job or like mission for a model thing for her, that outfit wouldn't have actually been available to buy until you completed that, and then it would get added to Nook Shopping or added to Able Sisters. So like it unlocks clothes, and so if you want like to earn more clothes, then you have to do these jobs for Label when she shows up. Much in the same way, like if you want more art, you have to wait for Red to show up and buy the art from him. And it's just like something to incentivize her, like make her actually useful, I guess. Because I have no need for Taylor's tickets. They're the most useless reward out of any island visitors.
And I don't like her stuff. In my game, they're all hot pink. And I don't like hot pink. Yeah, all the stuff she gives me is hot pink. That's the color that they chose for my game.
Weird. I didn't know that was.
And it's ugly.
Interesting. Okay. I haven't.
Just like the colored tools are different per game. Like in my island, it's this ugly neon green, and my brother got pink and purple, and I was like, that's not fair. I think my mom got like blue.
Right, and then there's the. I knew some things kind of rotated, like the colors of tools and some of the Nook Miles things, like the street lamps, the phone booths.
Yes.
Those things.
Which that doesn't make sense. Why we can't pick that color?
Yeah, or even if you can't pick it, but if you could customize it and paint it, that would be fine, right? It would be like, okay, it's one more tedious step, but at least you'd have the option then. But no. Yeah.
And they might be like, that's forced interaction. I was like, me begging Daniel to send me 1,000,000 white street lamps.
You weren't the only one, by the way. I think there was a couple I was their white street lamp hookup for, so don't feel bad.
I think Fry gave me the white park clock.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have that either. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah.
My only hope is that we get another Epona costume.
Oh, Zelda stuff would be cool, honestly.
We should. There used to be a lot of Zelda stuff, and it was really cool. The Master Sword, which made a sound.
Majora's Mask was
Twilight
there.
Princess outfit. It was.
Was it an Epona costume, or was it a character?
I don't remember.
Was it a villager?
It was a villager that looked like Epona.
No, it was a villager that looked like Wolf-Link. Maybe there was an Epona, and I just don't remember it. But I know there was a Wolf-Link.
Right. I mean, they could do a lot. Like, they could have a pig Ganon villager, and...
You know what? I think they did.
Did they? Okay. Wow.
No, they did. I just only remember Wolf-Link, but I remember seeing stuff with an Epona horse and a pig Ganon.
Okay. There you go. They could do a lot with that, so they could bring that back. They could do other stuff too, like not just Mario and Zelda. So like any crossovers.
You go to dig a hole in the ground and you have a Pikmin pop up.
Yeah. I'd love that.
Or like in the first game on the GameCube, Population Growing, you could get all of those little NES systems, and each one had its own game that you could legitimately play.
That I have heard about, where there was like huge amount of NES games that were completely playable start to finish through just Animal Crossing, just having the game in game. I think that kind of thing is amazing. I love that kind of thing. So
like you were literally playing that Donkey Kong game in there, just like you could play in Donkey Kong 64.
It would be interesting if they did something like that and had it tie in with the online the Nintendo Switch Online, to where you could sit down at the console and it would load into like Mario or something if you have the online service.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I think there was a Captain Falcon helmet. Someone put that in chat. There were lots of different crossovers.
So our second piece of news, Jesse, did you know about this Breath of the Wild 2? This was requested by Cliff on Twitter. Let's see if I can find the actual message he put, because he asked all of us for it, and we even have an answer from Tubes. Cliff says, with this new information, I'm very curious if Breath of the Wild 2 will be a dual release. There's been rumors that the game has been delayed to late 2022, early 2023. I wouldn't be surprised. As for the system itself, I knew during the pro phase, in quotes, that this would be a next-gen system instead. And then he put Game Over Jesse, 𝗵𝗲 𝗃𝗵𝗲 thoughts, and then 𝗃𝗵𝗲 from the Ghost World says, I mean, they did it for Breath of the Wild. I owned it originally on Wii U because it was impossible to find a Nintendo Switch. If a Pro is happening, Breath of the Wild 2 might be a launch title available on a regular Switch, just based on how they handled it previously. That's my guess. But Jesse, since you are the knowledgeable one when it comes to Zelda and Zelda, what are your thoughts on all of this?
I could sorry, I was trying to pull up the video that Cliff linked to, but I actually saw that video. I did watch it. And well, first of all, the source of the rumor is Nate the Hate, or Nate Drake, whichever he goes by. People seem to use those both interchangeably. But so I kind of already don't put a lot of stock into the rumor, honestly, but based on we're getting close to 5 years into Switch's life cycle, which is we're getting close to how old the Wii U was when Switch came out.
Oh my!
So there's that to consider, right? Like, the life cycle between the Wii and Wii U was 6 years, so we're approaching on that as well.
Well, there is a difference.
5 years in the GameCube and the Wii as well, right? So like, I mean, I feel like it's only a matter of time, anyways, whether this rumor is actually true or not, because they have the information, or true just out of happenstance because that's how console lifespans go. It's entirely possible that we'll see a Switch 2 or a new console. And yeah, I mean, Twilight Princess was a dual release for GameCube and Wii. Breath of the Wild was a dual release for Wii U, and Switch. And honestly, it's just becoming more common practice. Even PlayStation and Xbox constantly will dual release their games. Even some will release games on their previous console generation long after the release of the new one. I remember PS3 games were still being released, or games that were on PS4 were still being released on PS3 for some time. The same goes for like a lot of PS5 games are just being released on PS4, even though PS5 has been out for some time now, right? So the idea of it being dual release, like, I don't know, it seems, I would put more stock into that, not based on the rumor itself so much as just like historical, based on the history of game releases, and
it's
Switch
a logical conclusion to come to.
Exactly, that what I was trying to say. You phrased it better. Yeah, it totally feels like we're kind of getting near the end of the Switch, and like with the OLED, it looks great and all, but thinking about even with like the 3DS, for example, the new 3DS and the new 3DS XL and the new 2DS XL, like those all came out pretty close to the end of the 3DS's life cycle. And I remember when the 2DS XL came out, I remember I was thinking about buying it. Honestly, I was like, it looks really slick. It looks really sleek. And I was like, there's like no new 3DS games coming out though, so there's no point in buying it. I already have a 3DS. So I didn't get it, obviously, but I thought about it because it just looked nice, but I didn't. I had to switch off my shiny monkey brain for a second and think logically. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're at now, is like the OLED is the new 3DS XL of the Switch. and that means I feel like we're kind of coming close to the end of the Switch's life. And as successful as it's been, the technology itself is old, and not that Nintendo has to keep up. I'm not saying they need. I'm not like I need 4K and everything. I'm not, that kind of consumer, but Nintendo makes new consoles. That's just what they do. That's their business, and it's only a matter of time at this point, right? That's my take. I'm done ranting.
Oh, you're good. I was going to say, before I rudely tried interrupting you,
yes,
I had a quick comment on with the Nintendo Wii and the PlayStation 3 and 360. They had the longest life cycle of generations. Because I think the reason that they gave whenever they finally released the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and everything was because of the global economy crash or whatever. So they didn't think that if they put it out, people wouldn't really be interested in buying a new console because they would need it for other stuff. So they extended that life cycle. And with the PlayStation 4 during E3, they said something like, just in case that happened again for some reason, they put 8 gigabytes of RAM in the PlayStation 4 just to make it future-proof, so it wouldn't be necessary to release a new console that long after, which is weird because like 2 years later they ended up releasing the PlayStation 4 Pro, and then the Xbox One had the Xbox One X, which boosted it up to like 12 gigabytes, and it's like, but you said that it was going to be future proof, and then 2 years later you release one that's like twice as powerful. That doesn't make sense. But they were planning on it lasting like 10 years, and then finally like 5 years or whatever later they ended up actually releasing the actual next generation consoles. And with the Switch, like, we've heard stuff about how the OLED's dock has the 4K thing in it, and how their original plan was to release it as whatever the next gen console or the new Nintendo Switch version of it, but because of all the chip shortage stuff, which is why even on graphics cards and computers the prices for CPUs and GPUs are like twice as expensive as they were just a few years ago. And like even with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One X, you rarely can find them available because they can't produce enough chips to manufacture enough of the consoles. And those are consoles where they've already had contracts with the companies to make the console, and they were already on sale before everything happened. But with the new Switch, it would be even harder for Nintendo because they would actually have to begin producing while they're in the middle of the chip shortage. And there's also the, not rumors, but the actual news of NVIDIA saying they were going to stop producing the chip that the actual Nintendo Switch uses. So whether Nintendo wants to or not, they're eventually going to be forced to upgrade, despite what Nintendo has been saying. Like, whenever they kept on saying they weren't going to cancel production on the Wii U, or the Switch wasn't meant to...
that was a lie.
Yeah, it was going to be a third pillar, and it wouldn't take over for the Wii U. It wasn't meant to replace it. But then they immediately replace it by canceling production of the Wii U and then moving all of the Wii U games over to Switch and like remastered versions or whatever. But anyways, so we know all of that, and a lot of the third parties are going to stop producing games for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One within the next 6 months or so, and just focus on games for the newer consoles. And if they're ending production to focus on the more powerful consoles, then we're either going to see a bunch of games end up coming out for cloud streaming like we've seen at the last Nintendo Direct, or there's just not going to be any games on it, like with the Wii U, when all of the console when all of the third-party developers were making PlayStation 4 or Xbox One games but didn't want to put in the effort to port the games to a weaker console. It's going to be that same thing again. Or they're just going to give you like whatever the PlayStation 5 version is, but you're going to be streaming it instead, like what they're doing with Kingdom Hearts.
Right. the cloud version.
Yeah, it's like here's all the games on the mobile console, but you can't play it on the go. Which, like, for people with only a Switch Lite that want to play Kingdom Hearts, it's like, that sucks, because you don't have the Ethernet cable to have a good connection. So you're going to have to, like, sit next to your Wi-Fi router playing the game.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for them. Anyways, yeah, I guess that's my thoughts, is agreeing with Daniel. I mean, Jesse. Sorry,
Yay.
I'm Daniel.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it says right there, not Daniel.
You are a liar. Just like your Twitch username is not Game Jesse.
Well, that's not my fault. But yeah, it's I think it's just common sense at this point. And agreeing with what Tubes replied to Cliff on Twitter, I think it is just kind of obvious that if they do release it on the next console, it'll also be available for the current one. And I've been saying for a couple of years now that it's been long enough to where I don't think Nintendo would be, maybe shouldn't put it like this, but I don't think they would be dumb enough to release a half-gen console at this point, when everyone should be expecting like a full next-gen console instead of one that's like, oh, it's a little bit better, but it's still not as good as like a PlayStation 4 or whatever.
I mean, yeah, if it can't beat out the previous competitors' consoles, that's not great.
Yeah,
you know, like if it, like it, I'm not expecting it to be, you know, the specs of Xbox Series X or S or PS5. I wouldn't expect them to match those specs at all because it's Nintendo. But their strategy for the last while hasn't been to match those specs. It's been to do other more fun stuff. But it should still be more powerful than like the PS4 at this point, because that's an old console now.
It was even
sadly
2 years ago, I made a video talking about why I thought it would be like a leap for Nintendo, not just like a Switch Pro or whatever. It would be a Switch 2. And I compared the prices of everything, and it's like, for like, if you took the price of the Switch and then just added $100 to it, you would be able to buy, or I would imagine either buy or upgrade whatever GPU is inside the Switch to one that was at the time just as powerful as like the PlayStation 4 Pro was. And that's for a mobile CPU GPU combo, because at that time the PlayStation 4 was already a few years old, and whenever the PlayStation 4 Pro released, even at the time that it released, it was one of the most powerful consoles at the time, but just for the standard of GPU performance, it was like really, really, really low performance wise compared to just average computer processors and GPUs. And even like handheld tablets that were coming out at the time, with like gaming tablets or whatever you want to call them, were almost like somewhere in between like a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 4 Pro for around the same price as a Nintendo Switch. So there were companies already releasing basically Nintendo Switch without the controls that were just as powerful as we're saying the Switch 2 should be. So if it wasn't for the CPU shortage and everything going on right now, like if everything would have been normal, then it would be easy for Nintendo to release a cheap version of a Nintendo Switch for the same price that's also as powerful as the PlayStation 4 Pro or whatever.
I kind of wonder if they have, like with NVIDIA, cooked something up that we don't know about that they're going to implement in another console.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, at the time when Switch was new, or just before its release, everyone was all psyched about, oh, it's got this NVIDIA Tegra chip in it that's like going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome for the console, and it was. But now NVIDIA is not producing those chips anymore, so it makes me wonder if NVIDIA's cooked up something that's going to just blow Switch out of the water with this new whatever they've got. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see.
That's the secret. The CPU GPU shortage is secretly because Nintendo just bought them all.
It could happen.
They're just preparing. But Geek, what are your thoughts? Do you think Breath of the Wild 2, if it does release next year or 2023, do you think it will be cross-platform or just Switch?
Whatever y'all said. When it comes to that type of stuff, I'm kind of like, yes.
All right. I just went on a long tangent because I know I've mentioned the same thing in a few videos before, but there's always the person in the comments that's like, Nintendo wouldn't do that. They only focus on making their consoles cheap. And I'm like, yeah, but you can have a cheap console that's still as powerful as like a PlayStation.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on what facet of Nintendo's history you want to look at, because the Wii was their first like underpowered console.
Yeah.
Right? They've had like weird caveats, but like the N64 was more powerful than the PS1, and the GameCube was more powerful than the PS2 and the Xbox. Just they had their weird caveats was sticking to cartridges and using mini discs, but those consoles themselves, the actual specs of those consoles were actually more powerful. It was the Wii that made them pivot to cheaper but less powerful consoles, but they found success doing that, right? Because it was more affordable, so people were able to buy it because they could afford to buy it. So yeah. We also got super chat from Natsu, $5, said, I missed last week's podcast because theater rehearsals went on forever. Understandable, been there. But real quick, what was your reactions to Sora in Smash with one word?
Oh.
One word.
I have a hyphenated 2 words to make one word.
Okay.
Relative joy.
All right. Mine is...
Because it was for other people.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
If it has to be one word, it would be hunk.
Huh? Is it HMK? Is that what you mean?
like
Okay.
if it's just one word. Hunk.
My one word would be fitting. It was it's fitting. Yeah. Because I don't think it's like, I'm not a Kingdom Hearts fan, so it doesn't excite me, but I genuinely think it's a fitting conclusion to the roster.
Yeah, just
thank you, Natsu.
Erase all the Disney stuff.
scrub out the Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that does make sense with it being Smash Ultimate. Everyone is here. It's like, yeah, we even got Kingdom Hearts Sora. Everyone is here.
That's true. That's the big thing with Smash,
And
with Ultimate specifically. Yeah, everyone is here.
2 for 1 with Banjo and Kazooie.
True.
Like if they would have just put Banjo in there and not Kazooie, like
It would have been right.
if Microsoft was like, you can have one, choose.
Pick one. I mean, if you had to pick, I'd take Kazooie. She does all the cool moves, really, but
She has the
and runs faster.
Feet Buster.
Yes.
some more cool people in the chat. So yeah, that's basically I think we're all in agreement, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. What's the
We are aligned.
Yeah, so I kind of talked about this a little bit in the video, but Mario Party, the new one coming out later this year, is said to have DLC akin to Mario Kart 8, where it started bringing in people or characters from other franchises like Splatoon and Zelda, and then Smash Bros. Started adding in characters from non-Nintendo stuff, but this is going to still be Nintendo, but it's like I don't like, if I had to put it in a tagline, is like Mario Party, everyone's invited, basically, if I had to give it a tagline. To where Splatoon, Zelda, I forgot what the other one was, but I imagine it's just going to be like all the popular Nintendo characters, because not only does it make more money for Mario Party, but it also works in promoting other games. Like when Xenoblade was coming out on Switch, they released DLC in Breath of the Wild that was free, that they spent who knows how long working on just to give it to everyone for free, but as a way to promote the upcoming Xenoblade, because people playing Breath of the Wild would do the quest and be like, oh, what's this outfit from? And then maybe they would be interested in the game or something. So I imagine something like that, but obviously paid DLC, so more along the lines of what happened with Mario Kart. But what are some gaming franchises that you guys would like to see if this rumor ends up being true with the other Nintendo games coming to Mario Party? Because I think they did a good job with the high roll track in Mario Party.
Yeah, Mario Party, yeah.
So I imagine a high roll board, if they did that, would look cool. Or maybe it's just like Link or Zelda. But yeah, Geek, starting with you, what are your thoughts on this? And then we can get to you, Jessie.
So, my initial thoughts are Link and Zelda don't fit Mario Party. They made it work for Mario Kart.
But what if it's like
But I feel
Link?
like, well, that's what I was gonna get to.
Okay. I'll just shut
Mario.
up
Because I'm thinking of like the Link they put in Mario Kart, like they were able to get away with it. It was like just kind of cartoonish enough, but realistic enough. Like it still kind of worked. Whereas Mario Party, at least I've always been glued to Mario Party 5. And I know there are other versions, and I've played most of them. But it's even more cutesy, even more cartoony. So my hope would be if they bring Link and Zelda and stuff, that they're doing the tune versions, like Wind Waker, or use the updated Link's Awakening Link. That would be a cute fit.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that would work and have to use that kind of atmosphere. Animal Crossing for sure. Characters from that would easily fit. Isabelle, Nook, like it would make sense. I can't picture Nook fighting anyone. That's hilarious though. That would be funny. So those two franchises, you know, the like only two franchises I play are Animal Crossing, and so I'm like trying to look at my stuff. I wonder if they could add a few Pokemon.
Maybe. I was gonna say Animal Crossing as well though, and it'd be cool if it would read your Switch's like save data and bring in your villager to play.
Oh, that would be super
in
cool.
Mario Party. That would be super fun. Also, Mii's. I don't think there's Mii's in Mario Party, but they added Mii's into Mario Golf, which I haven't actually played, but just from the trailers and stuff, I thought that actually fits pretty well.
Yes.
I thought that worked well in Mario Golf. So putting Mii's into Mario Party, I feel like that's a no-brainer. That would be cool. I'm shocked that they haven't thought of doing that sooner, like especially during the Wii days where Mii's were rampant. So yeah, that's
they really were rampant. If you remember,
they're still rampant in Hyrule. Apparently,
was it Skyward Sword? They said or maybe it was Twilight Princess. They just filled up Hyrule Field with as many Mii's as they could.
Twilight Princess. Yeah, just for fun.
Yeah.
But then now we know that all the NPCs of Breath of the Wild are like augmented Mii's. So they stayed true to that. They lived on and did populate Hyrule.
There's an experiment I was doing with putting Daniel in a Zelda game.
What?
Like literally taking a picture of your face and then turning it into the texture for a face and then putting it on Link.
What? Why?
This sounds like Sims level crap.
Sounds very creepy.
It is.
I just named my horse after you, and this is what you do.
No.
To be fair, I have made all of y'all into Sims characters. It just didn't work because all four of us were the same height.
Ooh,
that would not be the case in real life.
Inaccurate. Yeah.
Yeah. Your turn, Jessie.
No, I mean I was just agreeing with with what Geek said. I've just had to come to accept that I'm now apparently Jessie. No, but Mii's Animal Crossing. I think especially if you could bring in your own village, it'd be really cool. But other Animal Crossing characters would be fun too. But other franchises, there's a lot that I don't really see working. Like Metroid would not work. That would just not fit. I think same for like Star Fox, Bayonetta, like a lot of the big ones. Splatoon even, it feels iffy for Mario Party for me. Very iffy. Like it would be a stretch to fit them in. But yeah, I think Mii's Zelda stuff, some Zelda stuff they could get away with, and Animal Crossing. Beetle. I could see Beetle. That would be fantastic.
Beetle could use like the same model as Waluigi.
You know what they should do is put more. They should put more Donkey Kong characters in it, because they have Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Good point.
I think that's pretty much it, right? Where's Diddy? Is Diddy Kong even? No, Diddy Kong I think is in some games already, but there's a bigger cast of characters than just those two, you know. More DK characters. There you go. Matt said it's Captain Olimar.
I thought about that.
You could throw in the Pikmin, but I don't know, because the size thing is what gets me.
Yeah, it could be a giant Pikmin.
Well, by Pikmin standards, they'd have to be.
They could all like join together and just wear a normal sized suit, to where they just look like one person.
That's creepy.
That's been creepy. A creepy podcast. No,
well, it's October, so it's a spooky cast.
I'm going to try to have a Halloween themed video, but I think we can go to the next one.
See, you like froze, and then you were frozen for a while, and then you went really fast.
Okay.
Then froze again.
No, I was going.
So what is it that I usually do?
Everything.
Oh, okay.
No,
I do. Okay.
You usually make Halloween themed videos, don't you?
Yeah, that's actually what I was just saying. I have a spooky themed one, but I haven't done it yet.
Am I back live for everyone else though?
It looks like it. Yeah, I've got the stream open here, so.
Cool. Froze there. There they are. Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry, that was Daniel and I just like re-switched bodies again, so we're back to normal now.
Oh, gosh. Thank the good Lord.
It was like a
praise the Lord.
It was a Freaky Friday situation. So.
Good.
But it's Thursday.
Yeah, well.
Freaky Thursday. It was Freaky Thursday.
We are in England.
No.
What? No.
Technically, we still recognize the Queen in Canada, but she has no jurisdiction here. So.
Fair.
Never mind.
Just a figurehead. That's all. Anyways.
Are we on to the next one?
Sure.
Okay, to be or not to be a banana?
To be. Because
I ran out of bananas, so.
All right. Daniel.
I'm sad.
Bad Kotaku. Tell us about this.
I'm so glad to be called Daniel again. so
it's almost like it's his name.
Almost.
We lost like 50 people. Sad.
Oh no. So this news is a news story about a news story. I don't know if you guys know about the website Kotaku. It's not the greatest website.
Am I allowed to say I have a friend that writes for them?
You could.
Okay.
You could say that. Oh,
$5.
Hold on, before we get to that. Super chat from Envy. Sorry, go ahead, Jesse. Read it.
Okay.
Read it.
A bit of a stretch. Do y'all think they can upgrade the software through an update? Like, if it's hidden at the moment. Also, hey, Daniel. My dog Luna also says hey. Hi, Luna.
Luna.
Hi, Luna.
Did your dog say hey because you can hear the dog that's here barking in the background occasionally?
I can't.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, never mind. Yeah. What software? The Switch?
I'm not sure.
Like Switch software?
I guess they're wondering if like they can do an update like with the software that's already there. Be like, we've installed an update with the technology that's already there, and now it's somehow better.
I mean, You can. There are mods for the Nintendo Switch that you kind of goes into the next topic, but yeah, there's mods you can do with the Switch to where you can increase the performance that it has. To where like some people are running Witcher 3, which runs at like a really low frame rate on the Switch at full 60 frames. So, and then you can boost it just enough to where it'll run Breath of the Wild without frame drops or dipping in resolution, because it doesn't just lower frame rate, but it also has dynamic resolution where it'll drop beneath 900 a lot. So you can mod your Switch to where it does that, because with it releasing, they made it so they underclocked the CPU and GPU, so it would run a little bit slower to stay cooler and last longer, and the battery would last longer, and it wouldn't be as hot. So yeah, but there's people that put it back to normal.
Gets pretty hot, so
there's people that put it to normal, and then there's people that take it a bit further. And then with the second revision, or the whatever, like the newer version of the Switch that came out, that had like a better quality CPU in it, to where even on its own they tried making it to where it was about the same as a normal Nintendo Switch, but even then it would still get like 1 or 2 frames more on specific areas where it would like drop frames, and people were able to take that even further than the original Switch. So yes, Nintendo could do that. Like they could technically release a new Nintendo Switch and call it a new Nintendo Switch and just do what I just mentioned, to where like they just boost the CPU, GPU. Everything is literally the same. It's just got a software update that lets it run faster, and they wouldn't have to really do anything. So yeah, they could do that. It would be a little bit more of an improvement than you got from the 3DS to the new 3DS, but it wouldn't be enough to make it like suddenly amazing. Like I don't even think it would be enough to run Breath of the Wild at full 1080p and full frame rate, but it runs at like the 900p with the frame rate maxed out and no dips or anything. You can go find videos of that if you want. But yeah, Daniel, you were talking about Metroid.
Yeah, so the website Kotaku put out an article that I wanted to discuss, because it was, in my opinion, and I think we were all in agreement with it when I proposed talking about this on the podcast, that the article was just in poor taste. Basically, the title of the article is Metroid Dread is already running on Switch emulators. And this was posted on Saturday, the day after the game was released. And, well, first of all, completely unnecessary article for 2 reasons. One, the game runs great on Switch. It runs at a solid 60 frames per second. It's visually lovely to look at. And the only slowdowns I've noticed were during loading screens. And who cares if the visuals of Samus riding in an elevator stutters during the loading screen? Who cares? Right?
Yeah, it's
none of the gameplay. But anyways, second point of why this article is completely pointless is because, a game runs better on an emulator than on a console. Well, if your PC is good enough, any game is going to run better on emulator than on a console. Literally any game, as long as your PC is good enough that you could say this about literally any game. So there is that. But this article has been edited since it was released, and a lot of the more offensive in quotation marks points of the article were actually removed. For example, the first post, like the first part of the article, originally said, "Hey, if you are a Nintendo lawyer or employee, just don't read this. It was silly. Ignore this blog. You can go now. Okay, everyone else." And then the article starts. So already they know they're not doing something good. Like they already know. And then the rest of the article goes on talking about emulating Metroid Dread on your PC, how to do that using more than one emulator. So it gives you options for how to do it. Nowhere does it say buy the game first because you should support artists. You should support the companies that worked on this game. Nowhere does it talk about any of that in the article at all. Even after editing it, they didn't add that in to say we don't support piracy. We don't, advocate for that. We condemn it. No, they didn't say any of that in their edit of the article. What they did say, hang on, I have it right. I did have it right here. When they emulated the article, or not emulated, edited the article, they said an earlier version of the story was understood by many readers to be a direct suggestion to illegally download this just released game. Because it pretty much was. Because it was. Because it just talks about, you can play it on Switch, but it's better if you play it on PC. And they don't say all you need to do is buy the game, download the ROM, or rip the ROM from your cartridge, put it on Switch. They just say all you need is a PC. That they don't say you need a Switch or you need to buy the game, right? Going on, they say we regret this interpretation, which means their apology is shifting the blame onto the reader, not taking responsibility.
They're deflecting.
They're deflecting, absolutely. So we regret this interpretation. Kotaku believes emulation is a vital part of the world of gaming, not least when it comes to game preservation. Again, you could make that argument for old games, but not for a game that came out the day before you wrote this article. There's no need to worry about game preservation when the game is brand spanking new. So that argument, is moot. While not directly encouraging anyone to break the law, really, we believe our readers are intelligent adults capable of making such choices for themselves independently. So again, deflecting. Instead of just saying, we weren't trying to do this, sorry, we'll do better. No, they just deflect. So anyways, I just feel like it was all very much in poor taste. I really am the kind of person that I believe you should, if you want more games, you need to support the people who make these games. If you want the series to continue, if you want to show support, if there's arguments to be made about like, not everyone can stuff like that, but this isn't like a necessity. This isn't a poor person stealing bread to feed their family. This is video games. Okay, it's a hobby. It's like it's not a necessity by any means. So it just feels so like reading it just left such a bad taste in my mouth. You know what I mean? Like just, and I'm not opposed to emulation. On my own streams, I emulated another Metroid game to stream it because there's no other way for me to stream Samus Returns because it's a 3DS game. So, but I bought that game. I own it.
Right.
So, I'm
Daniel buying a Metroid game? I don't believe it.
Who would have thought? So I feel like I'm not saying that emulation's evil, that all people who emulate are pirates. That would be hypocritical of me. But when they say that, we're just talking about emulation because we care about it for game preservation, that just seems like a really, it seems like a lie. Right? It seems like them backpedaling. So I'm gonna stop talking now so you guys can get a word in here, but throw me your thoughts, guys. Please.
Well, the part that stood out to me was at the end, like right before they put their thing about like, so we edited this because y'all interpreted it weird. It's like, no, it's what y'all directly said. But anyway, so I never read the unedited version, but the edited version, the last part says, there are so many good reasons to be grateful for pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers for doing what so many big publishers won't, keeping old games alive. And then they do this other thing about like, obviously that's not the case for Metroid, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but most of your article was talking about, look how much better it is on this. It'd be one thing if they were saying like, hey, wow, look how quick these people are to do that. we don't think that's okay to be doing that because of A, B, and C. But we think it brings up the point of, hey, Nintendo, we'd like for you to use more power for your games, you know, and then like be very quick to be like, obviously not okay to be doing this. But they have that little line, like, I understood they were saying, you know, keeping old games alive. But the way it starts off is kind of just weird about like so many reasons to be grateful for pirates. Like that's the first one they use, not the last one, the first one. Pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers. And I'm like, I know people who emulate and mod, and I'm like, I've done that. I've streamed Ocarina of Time and Banjo-Kazooie, both games that I own.
Be courteous. Tetra is in the chat.
Yeah. Huh?
Ah, right, because she's a pirate.
Yeah,
Tetra.
It was
I was
Zelda
like,
joke. I'm stupid.
I like
It was
that
a
took me
Zelda
such a
joke.
long second. But like I own Ocarina of Time on multiple platforms, so I didn't feel horrible about that, you know?
Right.
But it's just, it's like, yes, people are responsible for making their own choices, and I understand saying like, hey, you guys are adults and you should make your own choices, but that doesn't mean you automatically deflect. It's like, but you're also responsible for what you say. So just come out and say, yeah, it did come across like we were encouraging it. We apologize.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, they're responsible for making their own choices. So are you.
So, yeah, exactly. And you're basically promoting a certain choice or one of those options. Another thing, I don't think it's in the final or in the updated version, but is in the original. But they wrote, if you want to play the rest of the Metroid franchise and don't want to shell out large amounts of money on old consoles and games, your best bet is emulation. Again, this is pretty much them saying, don't buy the games, pirate them. And so, like, they have a point. It is not easy to get all of the Metroid games, but technically, these are all still games that are on Nintendo's marketplaces. They are still listed. You can still legally buy these on Wii U eShop, and some of them on Switch two other Metroid games are on Switch Online already. So already it feels like, yeah, they absolutely are promoting just pirating. They said if you don't want to pay for them, your best bet is emulating.
And if that's how you feel, own up to it and say, yeah, that is how we feel. You'll get in trouble for it later, probably. But, you know, at least own up to it and be like, yeah, that is how we feel.
Well, exactly. Oh, that's true, too. So, I don't know. That, to me, like, and then they're to have the audacity to be like, oh, we didn't mean to say that we're promoting piracy. But earlier in the article, they said, if you don't want to shell out large amounts of money, your best bet is emulation. As is often the case, Nintendo's really bad at maintaining access to their past games outside of a few big sellers. And this part, in addition to the one you already mentioned, they say even here, thank God for pirates, emulators, modders, and hackers. So twice in the article, they praise pirates, but then say they're not promoting piracy. So it just, it's all very hypocritical.
Yeah.
I will say there is an excellent mod if you own the original Majora's Mask 3D, where they do as much as they can to Majora's Mask 3D to make it just like the original and have it to where you can play just on one screen instead of two, so you don't have to use your mouse to click on the touch screen. You can just play with a normal controller. And they fixed the Deku hopping, the Zora swimming, the boss fights, and they try to make it as close to the original as they can. That's like the only example of, and it's not even modern pirating, or because if you have the game, you don't have to pirate it. You can just, there's a bunch of ways that you can back up the game and use your own game backup, which is legal. And then so is modding, but pirating, like going out and downloading versions of the game that you don't own, is illegal, which is where the whole hooray for pirate thing, like that is where it kind of crosses the legal line. Yeah, that's where it crosses the legal line. That's
the thing, is a lot of modding is very like gray area, but like most modders won't promote pirating games. Another example is a popular YouTuber, 𝗟𝗋, who I love. He did the wonderful video of Was Majora's Mask 3D a bad remake, which I probably watch every 6 months to fill myself up with joy because someone else gets it. It's not just me. But
I did not.
He
expect
made a
that,
Majora's,
and I almost spit out my water.
Oh, sorry. But he made a Majora's Mask mod himself, and it's just like it's a mod for the N64 version, and it's like a texture update. So it's like a Majora's Mask N64 HD version. It looks very nice. He just basically like redrew all the textures and everything, right? Put widescreen support, whatever. And he says in his video of like how to play my modded version of the game, the first thing he says is buy the game. I'm not going to tell you to download an illegal ROM or whatever. Don't do that. Like real modders do what they do because they love the games and they care about the games. They're not just in it to pirate it and whatever. So there's that.
Microsoft is really positive about modding because they release fan-made mods for like Fallout and other stuff that you can download straight from your Xbox, which used to only be available to like PC gamers, but now you can just download it as if they themselves made the mod, which with all the mods for like Breath of the Wild, I wish Nintendo would do that.
Yeah. Another thing as well regarding this Kotaku thing is Nintendo Prime, who we're chummy with, Nate, he put out actually 2 videos regarding this as well. And in his follow-up video, he talked about Nintendo actually struck back at Kotaku for this. For context, normally in the past, it used to be really bad for Nintendo. They used to infamously copyright claim YouTube stuff constantly. If you showed gameplay, too much of your Zelda gameplay, boom, your video's copyright struck, whatever. Around the Wii U era, it started to get better. But now they've basically stopped. And they've said, even said outright, like they even made a big public announcement about it. We're not going to do that anymore. People, you want to use our game music, you want to make videos about our games, you want to stream our games, go nuts, do it. And
it's free advertisement.
It is free advertisement, absolutely is. and I'll happily do it. And so Nintendo does not copyright claim anything. If you want to put a video of your Zelda gameplay on YouTube, they're not going to copyright claim it, whereas some companies like EA still will. Sorry, Envy in the chat says chummy with, what do you mean? We're friends with him. That's what I mean. So, that's sorry, nothing nefarious. But it even goes to the point where if you put mods, like videos of mods on YouTube, they still won't copyright claim those because they just are so laid back with their new policies for that. But they copyright struck Kotaku's source video for that Metroid Dread being emulated on PC. Nintendo did strike it down with a copyright claim, and they just don't do that anymore. They just don't, which means that someone at Nintendo saw that article and said no. And so who knows what this means for Kotaku's future, but they might have some like bootlicking to do with Nintendo, so who knows.
I don't know if it says knowledgeable now, but Kotaku a few years ago especially had a history of being blacklisted by publishers for...
It's because they do stupid things like this.
Yeah, seriously.
Like
Go on, sorry.
No, like it got to a point where people, like fans of their website, would complain about them releasing reviews like a day or two after, and then some of the reviews they would be like, oh, this seems like it was really rushed, and their excuse, reason, not really an excuse, maybe an excuse, I don't know, maybe that's being too negative, but their answer or reply would be, well, we can't get this game early, so we have to do the review as fast as possible for so it's still relevant whenever they finish and put it up, which is why sometimes you'll see like a review in progress where they'll like give a review of like the first parts of the game and then they'll go in and fill it in later, which is what a lot of websites do for larger games that do take like a month to go through and complete. Because even usually like when we get a game early, it's usually within like a week or two, So,
Right.
But there are publishers that do give a game like a month ahead of time, which is what you need for games that are that big, like The Witcher or Skyrim or something, or even Breath of the Wild if you wanted to do a proper review of it.
Right. Well, that's the thing is some games nowadays, like you can't reasonably finish a lot of games in a week just because of the size of them. Not Metroid. I've already finished it, but but other games.
Well, that's why
Breath of the Wild, it took me ages to finish.
Square Enix has a lot of RPGs.
He still hasn't finished it.
And I
haven't defeated him yet. What's his name? Beast Ganon.
Oh yeah.
Goopy Ganon.
I'm not gonna say
whatever he is.
He's goopy.
I
already forgot his name. Calamity Ganon. My gosh.
I have a confession. If I made, everyone would think I was a fake Zelda fan.
I
made a video about why I might be considered a fake Zelda fan.
That's true. That's a good video, though.
It was like, I have finished a total of 3 Zelda games.
No, so
actually finished.
The first couple of times that I made it to Calamity Ganon, I almost said Beast Ganon as well. Instead of me beating Calamity Ganon, my little brother was playing along with me at the time, and I would just give it to him to beat because he liked doing it. So, yeah. I myself haven't beaten Calamity Ganon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Bring in the pitchforks.
Welcome to the club. I promised
you,
everyone on my channel that I would do it before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out.
So it's going to be 2 days before the release date.
It'll be
I'll be like, guys, celebration stream. I'm finally going to do it. I'm just going to get on, do it, and then be done.
It's a never-ending race between Geek and I to finish.
Oh. I'll tell you something funny because Rick 𝗏𝗏 sort of challenged me with it. He wanted to do a video where we race from the plateau to defeating Ganon. And so I was practicing for it. And so just going straight from the plateau to Hyrule Castle, and I just kind of sleuth through Hyrule Castle, gather as much good gear as I can, cook a few good meals, fight Ganon. But the problem is if you do it that way, you don't do the Divine Beasts. You have to fight all the Blights first. Yeah. And Thunder Blight Ganon keeps kicking my butt. Yeah. I cannot fight him with just 3 hearts, apparently. It's a bad time. So just that's something to note there. I can apparently take out the other 3 Blights, no problem. But Thunder Blight Ganon, he just is too quick for me. So.
Well, if you remember the golden Lionel on 𝗏𝗏 that 𝗏𝗏 was trying to get through yesterday.
Okay, for context, he's playing a mod.
I was gonna say there's no golden Lionel.
Yeah,
not even hero mode.
That mod is bonkers. There's guardians and Lionels and really hard enemies all over the plateau. Even it's just a bonkers mod. And yeah, you go into the Divine Beast. He's trying to get through it. There's a golden Lionel and a bunch of enemies with multi-shot bows. And the golden Lionel has ancient arrows. Who thought it was a good idea to give him ancient arrows? And also, there is a change to the mod where you can't mount the Lionel to hit him, which makes cheesing those fights a lot harder too. But it's just chaos because you're trying to fight this guy and there's enemies with multi-shot bows with bomb arrows just firing down on you constantly. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. Go watch the stream. It's very fun, but also kind of stressful. So.
That's another confession. I've defeated a Lionel once outside of Ancient Arrows. It was that one in the Coliseum. I managed to hide the entire time and just use fire, bomb, and electric arrows, and he never saw me once.
Wow.
I managed to do it. It took hours, and I had to keep... Not hours. It felt like hours, and I had to keep using Amiibo to get more stuff.
That's intense.
It was intense, and I had to defeat all the enemies there too. And then the next time I tried to do that, we had a blood moon. So.
Oh no!
That didn't work.
Oh no! Not the blood moon. Oh dear. I honestly consider myself a pretty good Breath of the Wild player. I will eat Lionels for breakfast, but I will go out of my way to fight them because I'm just that kind of savage man. But I was watching this stream that Rick was doing, and I was like, no, this is too much.
My mom and I are still at the phase where we see a group of bokoblins and we throw remote bombs from the side until they're all dead. Because it's just hilarious to see them all be like, what? And then
they just fly
and then they go right back.
Direction.
It is quite entertaining.
It's speak of the devil, Rick is here. We were just talking about
I just sent him a message on Twitter.
Talking about his painful time
for trivia.
Excellent.
Oh, yes.
I will say there's some good ways to cheese some Boko fights just by using a leaf to blow them into water and drown them. So
it's so fun.
it's very fun. Should we do trivia though, Jesse? I think we've talked about this Kotaku thing enough and then got sidetracked.
Yeah.
A couple times. So
talk a wee bit about just your actual review on Metroid Dread instead of just Kotaku's thoughts on Metroid Dread.
Okay. Kotaku's thoughts on you should emulate it. Again, like I said, that seems so unnecessary to me because the game really runs beautifully. It's visually a treat, and it is a steady 60 frames. The only frame drops I've noticed are during the freaking loading screens, and who cares? It's not during gameplay at all. But okay. I will say, like, I actually had a few people ask me, including people in my DMs, ask, what do you think of Dread? What's your review, whatever? So I'm thinking about doing a video on it, but I'm like kind of wishy-washy about it. I love the game. I really think it's wonderful, but it really depends on what you look for in a game because there are parts of it that are genuinely like adrenaline rush, a little bit stressful, like some of the Emmy stuff. But there's always a payoff for those stressful moments because it's like, okay, you've got to run from this killer robot who is going to murder you, but then you find a super powerful weapon and you blow his face off. So it's okay. So like there is payoff for that stuff. But it is stressful. So if that kind of thing just isn't your cup of tea, then, I'm not going to say go and get this game because you're going to just have a scary bad time. I also think there's been a lot of people talking about, oh, well, I haven't played any Metroid games. Should I still play Dread? And again, it kind of depends how important the story stuff is to you because while I think that would be fine and you'd still enjoy the game, I'm going to say most of the main important story elements that really excited me hit harder because I have played those previous games. So there's context for some of these things. When they talk about Samus's Metroid vaccine, for example, and if you didn't play Fusion, you're going to be like, the what? What is that? What does that mean? Things like that, right? So it's just things that aren't going to make sense if they don't necessarily always explain it. Like there's a prologue that's pretty short that brings you mostly up to speed, but there's a difference between a prologue saying, oh, Samus was injected with this thing, this which gave her Metroid abilities, versus actually playing the game where that happens and using those abilities you got from that vaccine and like all this stuff, right? So the context, I think, really does lend itself to improving the experience of Dread. But I also think it's a very worthy game. It's a worthy successor to this franchise. It is not a super long game. I finished it 100% with no guides, which was pretty difficult because there's some pretty tricky puzzles for some of the optional secrets. And it took me about 13 hours to do that, according to the in-game timer that it gives you at the end. And that's long for a 2D Metroid because my last time I played Super Metroid through was less than 3 hours for 100%. But to the 2D Metroid games just generally aren't very long. But I feel like there's a lot of different ways to approach this game. There's a lot of, like, if you really are like interested in trying to do speedruns or sequence breaking, you're going to love the game. If you're not, there's still tons of stuff to like because it's very much a game centered around exploration and sort of sleuthing around and trying to find secrets and stuff like that. And sometimes you think you're stumbling into a secret. You're like, oh, there's this cool hidden passage. And then you go through it and you're like, oh, no, wait, this is the path. So this is actually where I'm supposed to be going. And I just stumbled into a boss fight. Oh, no. And it's great stuff. So I don't want to get into spoilery stuff. That's why I'm being a little bit vague about a lot of what I'm saying. But there are some serious story elements that will really surprise me, that really wowed me as a Metroid fan, and some things that made me, like fist pump, like that just happened. So yeah, so there's a lot to get excited for. I love the game. This is not a very formal review, but it's truly wonderful. It's a worthy successor to some of the most beloved games in existence. So yes, I'm sorry for ranting so much. You asked for it, Jessie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So maybe I'll do a video about this sometime soon. But I'm also streaming the game, so if you guys want to see me sort of talk about it in context of the game itself, catch me then. So. Also in the chat, Envy says people complained about how Dread is direct when it comes to objectives and where to go, but it's like that's what makes it fun and better experience. So right. Yeah, there's a lot of secret stuff. Sometimes it's not always clear where to go, but that's kind of the fun of discovery, right?
Mm-hmm. So
is this the code you just put in the chat here, Jesse?
Yes. Kahoot.it. You do not need to download the app. You can just go to the website on your phone or a computer or anything. Kahoot, KAHOOT.it, and then to join the game, 7602970. Anyone can join, and as soon as we
don't have to.
Correct. We have 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗵𝗲, 𝗏𝗧𝗃𝗍𝗵𝗃𝗍𝗃, Natsu, Capt Bergerson, Geek Apprentice, 𝗙ecie𝗹𝗹𝗃𝗄𝗧, Scrub Lord. We have 7 people. We'll start in I know this is a little bit late, so we'll give like 30 seconds for everyone to join. It is all about Ocarina of Time.
I'll probably still fail anyway. So I forget how big that game actually is.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I forget the ice cavern exists sometimes. So but especially secrets wise, there's actually quite a lot to quite a lot to do. It's great.
Let's see here.
I feel like it's one of those ones that after a while I'll be like, okay, maybe it was just the hype of the time because it was the first 3D Zelda game, and then I'll go back and play and be like, no, this game is great.
Yeah, same. Honestly, I sometimes I'm like, oh no, is it just nostalgia? But then
which does play a factor, but
for sure. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of franchises that didn't make that jump to 3D so gracefully, and to see Ocarina of Time come out so successfully, I don't know, it had to do a lot right, and there's room for improvement here and there, but overall, they knocked it out of the park on like their first try. So, well, I say first try, it actually had a pretty lengthy and troublesome development, and with a lot of stuff getting scrapped. But like what actually came out, what they came out with in the end, like is a very well polished product that I think really stands the test of time. Which I think is why when people are like, oh, I want a remake that's like the Final Fantasy VII treatment that's gonna flip everything on its head.
People forget,
like, well,
Final Fantasy VII, when they remade it, did not have the full game. They remade they took one game and planned on making it into a trilogy. So if they remade Ocarina of Time like Final Fantasy VII, you would pull the Master Sword,
get a whole game
would end.
That's the end.
And then it would get to you would beat the Water Temple, second game ends.
Right.
At least
that's a good point.
That's how I would do it, because after that is when you have to travel as a child, then adult, child, adult. Because before that it's it's only child and then mostly adult. I think you can go back to a child after. What's the requirement? This is how well I know.
You technically can go back to Child Link after the Forest Temple, but you don't have to until after the Water Temple.
Right. Exactly.
I'm glad.
But
you're
it's silly
here.
because there was a
Someone-
cut concept for it where completing the first 3 temples restored the power of the spiritual stones, which had drained over the last 7 years, and then that's what allowed you to start traveling back in time again, which makes sense if you think about it, because okay, you complete those first 3 dungeons, and then the next dungeons are where you have to time travel. But then I guess maybe they just wanted you to allow you to do it sooner for like side quests or something, so they just made Sheik stand in the way instead, which is just silly. Sheik is just standing in the way of the pedestal and not letting you put the sword back in.
All right, so we have 10 people here. I would play, but I don't. I mean,
But you
know
all the answers because you made it.
so I think what'll happen is next week, so I can play Geek or Tubes or whoever. I'll have them make their own questions, and then they can be the game host if they would like.
I definitely cannot because I am having surgery next Thursday.
Okay, well,
True. Maybe I'll make the trivia
yeah,
game.
maybe you can. I was
one
gonna
of
say
these
maybe
days.
we can get like
So that Daniel
Rick
doesn't
to
win
make
for
it.
once.
Give someone else a chance.
We have
I didn't win last time.
10 people.
I came in second.
Your rival Sergeant is here. We have Birdman, Mithra, Scrub Lord, Crazy Scoth. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Geek Apprentice, Captain Bergerson, whoever that is, Natsu, Batsy,
no,
and
yeah.
RMFH. So I believe there is a question in here from Natsu, and there is a question in here from RMFH. As always, there are other questions from friends that we have at where is it?
In high places.
Sort of. So we have a friend who writes for IGN who submitted a question. We have a friend who writes and researches for Did You Know Gaming that submitted. Alicia and Viram just joined, so that's 12. I guess we're going to start. 760
Let's
do it.
2970. You do not need an app or anything. You just go to the website kahoot.it, type in the number, and you can join. And we're starting.
Great. Get ready.
Ocarina of Time, Banana. Everything's banana, just so you know.
Great.
Okay, which character wears an accessory featuring Bowser? Malin,
Okay.
Happy Mask Salesman,
I was
Talon,
so quick on that
Impa.
one. I'm so proud of how quick I was on that one.
Yes, the faster you answer the question, the more points you get.
Correct.
9 had it correct. 3 said Happy Mask Salesman. 1 said Talon.
Oh.
What does your all screen look like when you see it? Does it tell you how many people got it
Yeah.
right or wrong?
No,
I'm on my phone, so no.
it doesn't for me either. I have it
Oh.
on my two, so.
All right. Geek Apprentice in first place, followed by Capt Bergerson, Scrub
Oh.
Lord,
My
Jorge,
one moment of glory for
That's it.
now.
Speedy.
Yes.
Question 2. What is the release date of Ocarina of Time in Japan? Oh, this is from
Oh, come on.
my
I
friend
don't know.
Aaron Donna. November 21, 1998, November 18, 1998,
Thought it was gonna be harder
November
than-
7th,
easier than that.
1993, or November 23rd, 1998.
I don't. I know the. Okay, I got it right.
November 21st,
I know the month and
Do you
year,
know
but
why I asked
Right,
you the
me
thing
too.
earlier, Daniel?
now I know.
Yeah, I knew month and
people
year.
said
I did not
1993.
know.
Oh no.
Yeah.
2 people
That's
said
frustrating.
93. That's funny.
It's the
Geek
wrong year,
Apprentice.
guys.
Oh,
No.
Batsy is in first.
93 is when Link's Awakening came out.
What year
Not,
did you pick, Geek? Or what date did you
98.
pick? Yo,
I don't remember. I just picked by 98
All right.
because I know I was 3.
Question 3. In Ocarina of Time, which enemy is not found within Ganon's castle? This is from Brandon.
I'm not actually sure.
Deku Baba, Wolfos, like Wallmaster.
I had it between 2. and I took a long time.
Ooh,
Yes!
everyone answered. Wolfos 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, that was from Natsu.
But I took a long time.
Not Natsu. Brandon. Not Nard. Sorry.
Not 𝗟𝗏. Legend.
I need to start putting the names beside them again. Cap Bergerson, come back in first. All right.
Ugh. I'm in the same spot. I didn't answer
Alicia's
quick
on
enough.
fire. She must have... Yeah,
Speedy.
highest answer streak of 3. That doesn't make sense. Everyone's... I don't know.
Maybe it's the speed.
What does 𝗵𝗃 call the hook shot? Shrinking, stretchy, keepsake, stretchy, shrinking, keepsake, shrinking, stretching, keepsake, shrinky, stretchy, keepsake.
These are all the same.
That's what I thought about the November one. I'm like, if at least they were all different, then I could figure out, oh, this one's definitely it.
I think this is gonna kill my streak because I
Oh, I got it right.
These are all like the same.
Which one did
was
you
it?
pick? Stretching, shrinking,
Stretchy.
keepsake?
I knew it had to be stretchy first because it goes out first
Okay.
before it shrinks. That was my logic.
Yeah, that
makes
That
sense.
is what I thought of. Like, it has to stretch before it shrinks. Like, it's not a Minish hat. Come on, Daniel.
I see how it is. This
is
question
third.
question was mental torture.
The rest are easy. That one was... They're gonna kill me.
What did you do, Jesse? What did you do?
I
Is this
forgot.
gonna be another how many games is Link shirtless situation?
No, I forgot who provided that specific question.
Oh no.
Let me look. Tina.
Or was it the Twilight
Tina,
Princess?
my friend Tina. She's
Tina
the
Fey?
I
Yes.
was literally
she's
about to go,
the
Tina Fey?
sister. Do you remember the friend that I have that does that really realistic Twilight Princess cosplay of Link?
Yes.
Yes.
Her sister,
Interesting.
who does a really cool Zelda cosplay. I think she gave that question. No, dang. That was Natsu. She has one coming up. Sorry, I get confused. I need to put who answers or who provides each question.
Yeah, do that.
All right, crazy.
Next time.
Crazy Scoth is in first place. Daniel is in third. Down by almost 1,000. Can he?
I'm hurting.
But Geek
This bookshot
is back
question.
in the ranking at 5th place.
I'm trying, man.
Question 5. The Bombchu bowling alley operator has what color hair? Red, blonde, purple, brown.
Oh, no. Dang it.
Did you
Did
pick
you
the
click the
wrong
wrong
one?
one? She did.
I was thinking of one person, and I
It's-
think it's the other person.
Fun.
It's hard because like red is on red.
thinking of
but
two
then,
different
like blonde is
people.
on blue.
I knew I had it wrong.
That's a good point.
I was
But, like,
thinking of one character, and it was a different character.
oh,
Also, if
which one were you thinking of?
The really big, tough dude.
Oh, like the shooting gallery.
I forgot about the... It was the girl.
Jorge in first place.
Oh!
No, do we call him George?
I'm pretty sure it's Jorge.
Yeah, he did the art.
George is
for
spelled with a G.
the poster over there.
Right.
He can tell us in
But
chat
Daniel,
which one's
Daniel
right.
back up in second, down by 400. I cannot count.
I gotta be
dropped.
speedier
He's got a
fast.
streak of 5. Kojiro, the purple Kuko, originally belonged to who? Malin, Kuko Lady, Master Craftsman's son, Talon. Did you get it
That
wrong
took me
again?
way too long. No, it took me too long.
Did you just now answer, Daniel?
I don't know if the right answer is in these options.
Oh, it
unless
Oh man, I got it wrong. I really thought, dang it. No.
did you what was the right answer?
The Master
that you put?
Craftsman's son.
That's what I
I
put.
clicked on that and it said incorrect.
Me too. That's what I put.
That's what I clicked on.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was him, and then I was like, was
Yeah.
it the Kuko lady? No, yeah, I put Master
You
Craftsman's
know what?
son.
I typed it in as who originally gives Link the Kuko, and then that is my fault. That one is my fault, everyone. I'm sorry.
Jesse!
Now the whole thing is off.
Maybe.
Ruined.
But if anyone got it right, they technically got it wrong.
Only 2 people got that one right.
Are they in ranking positions?
None of the stats changed. Everyone is still in the same place.
Okay.
Maybe like
I'll
below
accept
5th
it.
place. Like Daniel's still in 2nd. Hold
Okay.
on.
I'm still in 7th.
I did get a message on Discord though.
I was gonna say, I was pretty sure I had that one right.
I was like, why does it say incorrect?
I was like, what?
But this one is a bit tricky because the person who gives it to you is not the original owner.
Someone just sent me
Right.
a message on Discord about a trivia question. Sadly, it is too late, but I'll include it in the next one.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Defeating a Skull Kid will leave what behind? Hearts, Deku Nuts, Deku Seed, Rupees. Defeating a Skull Kid.
I genuinely don't know.
Do you know, Daniel?
I do.
I did not know they left a specific thing.
It's always the same thing.
It's a specific,
But you have to be adult
specific
Link.
thing as well. Rupees.
Yeah, I had a feeling I was
3
wrong.
people got it.
It's a big one. It's a big purple rupee.
It was orange.
Oh.
Or an orange rupee, you're right. It fills up your wallet, that's the point. It's more than you can
Ooh,
actually
first
carry.
place. Back with Daniel.
Still
It's
7th.
rupees!
Alicia in 5th, Scrublord in 4th, Jorge in 3rd, and Crazy's Koth in 2nd. 8 of 14. The correct path through the Lost Woods is right, up, right,
What?
up, left, up, right, left,
What?
right,
That is-
left, up.
That is not what mine says.
Yeah,
At all.
same. They're
What?
just lines. They're
No,
just lines.
it's just dashed lines.
It should be arrows.
They're
it's
not
not
arrows. They're
arrows.
just lines.
But
They're just lines.
do you see it on my screen?
No.
No.
The stream is behind. Oh wait, now the stream caught up. I
Yeah, that is not at all what ours was.
clicked on one of them though. And now
got
I'm
it
looking at it on the stream because the
How
stream
did
is
it-
behind.
It didn't show up.
And
for-
it
No, it was like these little rectangles
just
with a bunch of
lines.
lines through them.
yeah.
Okay, so
Jesse, you're bamboozling everybody.
That isn't my. That one is not my fault. It showed up for whoever's
You probably
on
can't use
browser.
special
know-
characters.
I
You
know
can't
the
use
right
special
one.
characters.
Are you sure?
When
you
I'm
can't?
looking at the stream, I know. Yeah.
I would
But-
not have known what the right one was, but still.
For the 4th answer, I put up, down, left, right, B.
Did-
Start.
That's the Konami code. That's not. Oh.
No, I'm
Okay, Horace
still in
says he
7th.
did see arrows, but I did not.
Maybe it's
Yeah,
just
I
for
definitely did not.
people on computer browser. Maybe.
No,
He's
I'm on my phone.
I'm on computer.
Oh,
Daniel and I are getting heated about this.
maybe it's Apple products. Oh, Daniel's in
Why
second.
would that make a
Jorge
difference?
got it
Why
right.
would?
I don't know. Next
Wait,
per-
Daniel, do you have an Apple computer?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I have an Apple phone. Maybe.
For now on, I will spell out instead of
You
using
gotta type
arrows.
You just gotta type it.
But like being,
don't
I didn't
do
think it would all
questions like
fit
that.
if it was typed. That was why I used arrows. Cause it.
Don't do the question.
All right, 2 answers that were messed up. I'm sorry. It's all Daniel's fault.
It's not a good thing.
9 of 14. How many cuckoos in Kakariko Village? 5, 6, 7, or 8?
I guessed.
Mm,
I just wanted to be quick. I knew I wasn't going to remember. It would take me too long to count. Oh! I'm in the same place, but I got it.
I couldn't remember. I just guessed.
Me too. But I got it right.
2 got red. 2 got 5. 1 got 6. 4 got 7. 6 got 8.
I debated 8 for a
Bonus.
millisecond.
Jorge's right. Bonus answer. Kakariko is misspelled.
Yeah, well,
I didn't even pay attention to it.
that's Daniel's fault.
Bonus, my mom doesn't call it Kakariko, she calls it karaoke.
The only thing that
Karaoke.
changed was Jorge got more points. He's now 1,000 points ahead of you, Daniel.
That makes it harder for me to catch up.
10 of 14. How many small keys are in the water temple?
Oh, good God.
5, 6,
know.
7, or 8?
I shouldn't have done the same answer I did before. I gave the same answer as I did for the other one.
There's a lot in the water temple.
Yeah, my brother got one in the wrong place one time and it soft
it is
locked
not
him.
the most. 6.
Yeah, no, I knew I wasn't gonna have that. I don't know. I don't pay attention to
Daniel
that.
drops down to 4th.
I pay attention to music.
You still have enough time to win, Daniel. You don't have to go to sleep
I
crying
have been in
tonight.
7th this entire time.
My credibility's on the line.
I was in 1st, 7th, 5th, and back to 7th the entire time.
Alicia, congrats. And Scrublord, congrats. You are both ahead of Daniel.
This is Bologna.
Which dungeon has the most small keys? Spirit Temple, Shadow Temple, Forest Temple, Fire Temple. I'll give you a hint. I won't give you a hint because that'll give it away.
I wasn't sure at all.
It's kind of obvious if you think about it. It's not necessarily for doors to a location.
No.
What do you mean it's not for doors to a location?
You can use the keys to unlock Gorons and the Fire Temple.
Most of the Goron's things are push switches.
It was the Fire Temple? I would not have guessed that.
Well, either way, it still has the most keys.
This is hurting me emotionally. These are not the trivia questions I expected
Daniel
today.
dropped...
No.
I thought it was going to be easy because it was all just one game.
You thought this was gonna be easy?
What exact date did it come out? What with all the other dates?
Well,
being
all of them being
completely
November.
The one about the date, that one was from Tina.
But like the pathway in the Lost Woods, that's like asking me how to get to the first dungeon in Zelda 1.
Usually people have that memorized because it's like up,
No!
right, up, right, up, left, up, up.
No, I guess
Thing
every
is-
single time.
With the key thing, I can go through the motions of the dungeon just fine, but I'm not counting the keys as I go because you're not like you gather all the keys.
12,
like-
14.
it's like you get a key,
what
you use
time
it.
does 𝗵𝗃's Heart-Pounding Grave Digging Tour begin? 18, 21, 15, 10.
I don't know. Bro, I don't know. I definitely think I guessed the wrong
I
one.
got this
but,
one
you know,
wrong too, actually.
I just guessed. Did I guess right? That would be
Feels bad,
crazy.
man.
I don't
feels
think
bad.
I did it.
Incorrect.
Oh, I got it right.
18.
I'm in the same place, but I got it right.
I'm every question. I'm getting farther and farther behind.
How is it even when I get one right?
Daniel's
I'm
not
on
even
7th.
ranked. Oh, I'm sorry. Scrublord
It's
in
it's
2nd.
18, isn't
𝗵𝗃
it?
in 3rd. Crazy's Cost. Yeah, it's 18.
It's 18. I clicked 21.
Alicia in 5th and Jorge in 1st.
18 seemed right because I was like, oh, that would be 6 p.m. So that sounds about right.
That's
13 to
right.
14. Which boss or mini boss gave Jesse nightmares? Wall Masters, Post Sisters, Fire
All of
Dancers,
them?
Dead Hands.
I don't know.
Yeah, this was a freebie. It's any of them.
Any of them? They all gave you nightmares?
Oh, we should make one about what things made Geek
sort of.
Apprentice cry.
It's Dead Hand. It's the answer's
Dead
Dead Hand. Dead Hand made us all cry.
Also, in Majora's Mask, seeing Redeads do fouette turns. That's a type of ballet turn.
Score did not change.
But they do them inside. And that's impossible to do fouette turns inside. You're supposed to do them en dehors, not en dedans.
I think this is the last one. Get your
Literally
phone in your
spoke
hand.
French
so.
there.
Oh, well, I know I'm not going to
14
win
to
this.
14. Link can plant how many magic beans?
What?
14,
No.
12, 8, 10.
Just picked one.
I used a picture with this one. in
No
case
one
people-
counts this stuff.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Except
10?
my mom. Whenever she climbs
is
a set
10.
of stairs, she mentally counts them. And she'll get to the top and go, 12. And she-
Ocarina of Time Banna Podium, 3rd place, with 63.79 points. Batsy, Scrublord in 2nd, and Jorge in 1st.
I got 6 out of
Probably.
14.
Yeah, Jorge.
Honestly, I think that's the best I've ever done. Especially considering I technically got 7 out of 14.
Runners up, Crazy's Koth and Alicia in 5th.
I was going to say 10
Okay.
and I was like, that's two rounded off
Everyone in
numbers.
the
Could be
chat,
wrong.
give me an example of an easy Ocarina of Time trivia question. Daniel, you give
How
me
many
your
s-
example. Well,
Okay.
yeah, gi-
What
you
are
have-
the names of the Post Sisters in the Forest Temple? That would
You
be
thought
one.
that one would be easy?
That's an easy
like-
one.
Yeah, because that's like
If it's multiple choice.
challenging if you don't know if you haven't played the game enough, like that's enough that I'm like, I can reasonably figure that out. Because if you know it's the what the names are based off of,
Yeah.
that's easy to figure out.
And it's especially multiple choice.
I think in German.
Oh yeah.
Is it German? The Carpenter brothers are renamed after the Beatles.
Oh, is it? That's funny.
I don't know, but that would be funny. Or like trying to think. All the ones that I think of are easy are like actually way too easy. I'm trying to think of something that's like that's a decent challenge that like not even the random casual would know.
It's like, where do you fight a Wolfos for the first time?
Lost Woods.
Lost Woods. There you go. See, but that's like
Not even the Forest Temple, it's the Lost Woods.
Yeah.
I only know that because when I went to replay it when I was 15, it freaked me out so much I screamed and threw my controller in the air, and my brother, without fail, caught it above my head, defeated it, threw it back on my lap, and said, "You're pathetic."
Oh my gosh.
He was laughing, like in a joking way, but also like for real.
All right. The question people got the least correct. That was a valid question. Was defeating a Skull Kid leaves behind what? Most people said Deku nuts.
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Because they're like living in the Lost Woods. That's probably why.
Deku seeds
It's
make the
lonely,
most
though.
sense, but they shoot needles at you. Is what the guide says. But they leave behind orange rupees if you kill one, and they're like harder to kill than most.
Same with the
bosses.
angry bird and Majora's Mask. Great way to farm money, and also cathartic to use fire arrows to kill him.
I could give you a really challenging Zelda question that no one would know the answer to, including myself.
Okay.
But that's not a shocker thing. I don't know why. This was the first thing that came to my head is how many inks does it take for the Zora King to move?
It takes him
Because we've all
a
sat
week.
through it.
A week.
It takes him
A week.
tons.
There's so there is something interesting is speedrunning Ocarina of Time. The cutscene where the castle falls, it's rendered in engine, and every time it gives you different pieces of it that falls in different boulders and stuff. So depending on how many things are falling, the cutscene can go through slower or faster because it drops frames depending on how much stuff is on screen. So
Okay.
if you're speedrunning, you could technically beat the game faster than someone else. But if you get a bad cutscene to where it takes longer to load, then you can lose despite going through the game faster than someone else.
That's right.
Eek. Rick in the chat says, a good easy trivia question. What do you get for completing Gerudo Training Grounds?
I would know if
It's a
it's multiple
easy
He
choice.
one.
gave that, but that I told him that was an easy one. He gave
That,
the
you asked
shrinky.
for examples
He
of
gave the
easy
hookshot one.
questions.
He gave the
That's
hookshot.
it.
Yeah, but then it's like it's a game of speed, not knowledge. I
That's the only reason I got
Is
the
it not a
Melon
game of
one.
knowledge?
Like I knew the Bowser one right off the bat. I was like, "Where's Melon? Where's Melon? Melon, go!" My
Another one I
one
thought
moment of
about
glory.
was what happens if you I think use a slingshot in the castle graveyard or not Castletown courtyard. If you shoot
The
through the
Hyrule
windows,
Castle courtyards?
yeah,
Yeah, a guard throws a bomb at you.
yeah,
I did not know that.
that was one
Yeah.
that I thought was too hard.
A guard pokes his head out and he says, "Hey, quit causing trouble," and he throws a bomb at you, which seems like a terrible overreaction to a
That's
kid
overkill.
using a slingshot on a window. Like this guy, this grown ass adult, is like, "I am going to bomb him."
So
Or what are the pictures inside Hyrule Castle when you're in the courtyard?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
it changes in Ocarina of Time 3D.
Blasphemous.
I think it gives
That's
you
stupid.
Mario 3D Land levels. I'm not sure.
Blasphemous.
Yeah. Okay. So
What's the order of Deku Scrubs in the Deku Tree? That's a good one. Nishan in the chat.
These are all too easy.
These are
Isn't
good
that
ones.
2, 1, 3?
You said, "What's an example of an easy one?" That's why people are
Okay,
giving.
what's an
easy
example
ones.
of a normal one? People in
Isn't
chat.
it 2, 1, 3? 2, 1, 3, isn't it?
2, 3, 1.
2, 3, 1. 23 is
2,
number
3,
1.
Oh, that's right. I knew it was either 2, 3, 1 or 2, 1, 3. So
Yeah,
I would've guessed
23
wrong.
is number 1.
Okay, so all right, people in the chat, give me an example of a question that's not too easy and not too hard for any Zelda game. Just give me an example.
How many Korok seeds are there in Breath of the Wild?
Oh no. Or what ingredients do you have to get for Yeto to make soup in Twilight Princess?
I'd have to see the multiple choice, but I could probably get it.
You'd probably get it.
Pumpkin is one of them.
Or even yeah, it's like
cheese.
pumpkin and cheese, goat cheese.
Yeah.
I honestly, if they didn't have the fish, it would sound like good soup to me. But the fact that it's like pumpkin, goat cheese, and like the smelliest, the like most notoriously stinky fish in in Zelda history is literally called a reek fish because it's just known for smelling. Although you don't get it for him. He already has the fish.
What
yes, but
meteoric score does Ocarina of Time have that could be a question?
What? What's a
Metacritic score.
Metacritic? Oh.
We did that one, Birdman. It was a 9.7 or a 9.8.
I don't feel like, personally, I don't feel like that's a good question because it's not about the game itself. It's about a review of the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather it be something that's like in-game stuff.
All right, how about this? You won't be here next week, Geek.
I won't.
But Tubes might.
I mean, I could try, but I'll be in pain.
See, I asked what games, and I think you said Wind Waker and Ocarina of Time. Geek?
Yeah.
And then Tubes said Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time.
Do Twilight Princess next week.
Yeah, so
but
I'll do Twilight.
If she's
someone
able
in
to
the
come.
chat said, "How old is Toon Link in Wind Waker?" If we're putting that for a trivia question, that's a hotly debated topic, actually.
Yeah.
Some people say he's the same age as adult Link in Ocarina of Time, and I'm like,
No.
he's a kid.
Especially because you know that they were originally going to have an adult Toon Link.
Yeah.
So
I think
usually it's agreed that he's 12, which is weird because
Already a debate.
he's supposed to be because he's supposed to be the same age as the other hero, as in the Hero of Time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been back and forth on that too, where he's 10, 11, or whatever. But it's like, then he's 17 when he wakes up, which makes him 10 before. So.
Yeah, I think Miyamoto said he's 9, but even that, I've always just said 10.
Me too.
In my head, like for both Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker Link. So.
Yeah, and that's like the age that you get kicked out of your house in Pokemon. So
10? Oh yeah, in Pokemon, yes.
Yeah, go travel on your own with dangerous animals.
Yeah, here,
Yes.
you're 10. Take this sword. Take this green suit.
You're good.
You're good.
Yeah, so next week will be Twilight Princess. I'll do an easy one. And then
I'll probably still be able to play. I'll just be like sitting, not on camera.
Oh,
because my surgery is only half an hour.
How would you like to put together 10 questions
for Twilight Princess?
For any, like I'll do an easy one for Twilight Princess. I'll make one that I can have people play, and then you can do one that I can play along with. Would you want to do that?
Not Wind Waker, but like what other game? Because I haven't finished Skyward Sword. I could feasibly do Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Or A Link Between Worlds.
It's me and Daniel, so you could do any game.
Okay, I'll do Skyward Sword since I'm trying to finish playing.
Except Zelda 2. I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Neither would I. I still can't find the first dungeon in Zelda 1.
All right, Zelda mailbag time, everyone.
I say that on purpose.
We'll do
because Daniel's told me so many times how to get there.
We'll do a couple of questions, and congrats to Jorge. He'll be moved to the top spot in the Discord that everyone can join. Twilight Princess,
the new Nintendo World Champion.
Crazy. We are doing Twilight Princess and Zelda in general, right?
Sure.
Did you decide on one, Geek, or are you just going to do Zelda in general?
I'll do Skyward Sword.
Oh, Skyward Sword. Okay, Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword.
Like for next week, or?
Yeah, for next Thursday.
Okay, that way I can give them to y'all, and then I'll just be watching.
Yeah, but you can still do the. Well, yeah, you could still do Twilight Princess if you wanted.
Yeah,
to
I could still do. How would I even submit those so that you don't know?
You can either make a thing, or I can send you my login for Kahoot, and then you can just go in and make your
Oh,
thing.
I can make a thing. That's not too much.
You'll
have to remind me the day of. I'm not gonna.
All right. So yeah, if you have any Twilight,
Don't use special characters or arrows.
Yeah.
Don't what?
Don't
Don't use
arrows.
special characters or arrows.
Type.
No.
Best to type.
Now
stuff
we
out.
know.
So we have a few questions that we can go through. If you have a question, comment them, and we will get through them. If you have a trivia question for Twilight Princess to submit, send it to me on Twitter or join our Discord, and you can send it to me on Discord. The links to everything is in the description. And yeah, thanks for playing along, everyone. Daniel's lost 2 times in a row now. Hooray!
I know my ego is a little bruised, but
Yeah.
that's probably for the better.
Rick?
I could use a bit.
He left. He got too sad for losing twice. Daniel, come back.
What just happened?
Daniel. We see
You okay,
cartoon
man?
face.
Discord closed apparently.
Yeah, mine used to do that all the time, remember?
So, oops. I was just trying to click into the mailbag, and then I don't know, maybe I clicked the wrong thing.
Are you on
Maybe it was
Discord
my
in a
fault.
browser?
Yeah, no. I have the Discord app on my computer.
Oh.
It's all good. Anyways,
Yeah,
sorry.
so
Mailbag.
question, if you have a Zelda question, again, for the Zelda mailbag, you can comment them below, or you can send it to us on Discord. If you have a trivia question, you can send it to me, or if you have a Skyward Sword question, you can send it to Geek. You can just like go to her Twitter or Instagram and just like comment it.
Yeah, go to Instagram and
comment it
DM
on,
me because I don't check Twitter.
or you can like post it in the comments of her picture if you can't DM her, and then she can just delete it after she sees it. Yeah, so
Actually, I need to go if I'm
okay.
going to wake up
all right.
for Animal Crossing stream.
Well, thank you for joining us,
Oh yeah, that's
Nice.
early.
everyone.
Yeah, I mean, not as early as it will be for you, but
That's true.
Before you
I'm not
go,
waking up early.
do you have anything special planned that people can check out aside from the Animal Crossing stream tomorrow?
aside from the Animal Crossing stream, I have like videos written that I need to like actually do. Like I stopped my dungeon music video for a while. I need to actually finish Skyward Sword.
Yeah. So we can see your
yeah.
fire dungeon one.
I've done the Fire Sanctuary, so I can
That's
do
true.
fire
true.
now. I just keep forgetting. And then I have my stream tomorrow morning. I can shamelessly link it here. I'll do that. I don't think I have anything specific coming. Like I said, I shouldn't have shared that. That was the dumb thing. No one will be able to see that. I did the wrong thing. Anyway, but like I said, I'm having surgery next Thursday. It's not a big surgery. It's a minor surgery. So my hope is after a couple of days recovering from that, because I have to take off work for a week, I'll stream a lot. That's the hope. And my goal, because my mom's going to be visiting, is to make her get on stream and play Breath of the Wild.
Oh.
I'm so determined because I don't know if she's watching. Sometimes she watches. She's like, don't talk badly about me. And I'm like, but she's not good at Breath of the Wild.
I don't know your mom personally, but I already love her, so I would watch this stream.
I keep trying to get her to do it, but she's like, no, I won't do the camera. And I'm like, Mom, they need to see how you use your controller, which is like this. Or the way she like leans in and she's like, no, I think, well, I can quote unquote make fun of her because we have a really strong relationship, but everyone else would just be like, this is great. Kakariko Village and Whiz Bangs. So
Karaoke.
With Bings. With Breath of the Wild, my favorite thing to do is get new players, or it even got my dad interested in playing whenever my little brother was playing, and because he'd be on the Switch and my dad would always watch it, and I would all like that first opening scene where Link goes up to the cliff and looks out and the camera pans and zooms and you can see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my favorite thing to show people, because then they're like, okay, where do I go? And I'm like, anywhere. Like,
where do you want to go?
Yeah. To a world of pure imagination.
All right, so with that, I need to go.
Bye, Geek.
But yeah.
If anyone
Hopefully
wants
see a bunch of y'all tomorrow morning.
Geek's links to her YouTube and stuff is in the description as well. So
Oh,
anyone
yeah.
can go check that out. Bye, Geek.
Bye.
And
Anyway.
then there were 2.
Yeah. So I didn't want to have to do this.
Oh no, he's gonna kill me, isn't he?
But our first question is from our Patreon supporter Natsu.
Oh, that's just cool.
Well, I know you really, 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 really hate him.
That's
So-
not true. Natsu's one of my channel members, actually.
I'm joking.
Nothing but love.
I'm joking.
Nothing but love.
If you are a Patreon supporter or channel member or just a really cool person, you can guarantee your question to be featured on the Zelda mailbag before anyone, like Natsu, and you can get shoutouts like we did at the beginning. So he asks, if Nintendo gave Link an instrument in Breath of the Wild 2, what instrument would you like for it to be, and what would you want the functionality to be? I thought long and hard about this. I actually had a chat with Miyamoto when he was over at my house playing Animal Crossing 64 disc drive version with me the other night, as I said earlier. Because you remember he was playing it with Jesse?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
what I recall.
what's going to happen is Link's going to stumble upon a roasted, because you can cook birds in this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So a roasted 𝗏𝗄.
Why?
And Link's going to see his burnt a little bit. Oh, you asked why? Because there's the fire dragon there, and he's like, there's like Din's flying around and stuff, Dinral. But then Cass is like, yeah, but you're no 𝗍𝗶𝗃𝗄𝗃. And then he just like he gets roasted.
No. No, Cass.
So yeah, you heard it here first. So then he's gonna get the accordion, and part of the side quest is you have to run around and get it fixed, which is how Daruk comes back. Our good friend Joe. Our good friend Joe. He comes back as Daruk. He also plays Kokiri in this game, and they help you get the accordion back together. That's
Wow.
That's pretty much it. And then guess what? Miyamoto himself plays in all languages. It's really incredible. Praise to Miyamoto for learning 15 different languages. Believe it or not, guys, he's doing the voice of Guru
Guru.
from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Song of Storms isn't the only song he can play. He perfected the Song of Time, which is obviously how he appears in Breath of the Wild 2.
Obvi.
Yeah, and so he actually teaches you how to play accordion as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible, because Guru doesn't even play accordion, but it's great he knows how, so he could still teach you.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you can't get, like, what's his name? Mido? You can't get, like, he's dead.
True.
True. You think this version of Zelda knows how to play anything like she did in Ocarina of Time or Skyward? No.
Okay.
She's not musically gifted. So
this long-winded joke aside,
joke?
playing the accordion.
Excuse you.
We have to say that so the Nintendo ninjas don't come for us. It actually would be cool to play the accordion because we have that artwork that was from the Zelda Symphony that you use in a lot of video thumbnails. and that artwork has like Ocarina of Time Link with the ocarina, and then Zelda from Skyward Sword with the harp, and then Breath of the Wild Link, but he's got Cass's accordion, and it looks super cool.
Yeah, that's where my real answer came from. Was that artwork?
Okay, there you go.
So why would Nintendo make official artwork of three characters known for their instruments?
Except only two of them are.
Yeah, but then like Link has the accordion. Like, you're telling me Nintendo took their time to make official artwork for that, and then they're not going to do anything with it? What do they do with the concept artwork of Link with the motorcycle?
They were arguing with 𝗷𝗵𝗲 about it for a long time, and he kept coming up behind developers and being like, whispering in their ear, like, the motorcycle.
I think it was 𝗙𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗄𝗃.
No, it's 𝗷𝗵𝗲. He like legit loves motorcycles in real life.
Oh, Miyamoto's not allowed to ride motorcycles.
Not after the incident.
No, it's in his contract. He's not allowed. I think it was dirt bikes. I was actually talking to you know who from Did You Know Gaming about that. I brought it up, asking. I think it was the first video he gave questions for the trivia that we did, and he was like, "I was actually just writing a thing for Did You Know Gaming about that," which may or may not have came out yet. So just forget that, everybody.
I have to look into that. But you know what I was thinking was, if I could assign an instrument to Link, I would want to go like really old school and bring back like the flute or the recorder. Yeah, just jam. No, the recorder from Zelda 1 actually would be cool to see, just as a throwback. But functionality wise, actually have you play it properly like the N64 games, because I hate playing the harp in Skyward Sword. I think it's shallow gameplay. Like they had a really good music playing system in the N64 games. He's don't lie, Jesse. I had 𝗷𝗵𝗲 over last week, and he said Link would be playing a harmonica in Breath of the Wild 2. Actually, harmonica would be cool, but love it.
But yeah,
like play it with have the controls and the functionality be akin to the N64 version. Maybe not the warp songs, but you have it do something more than Skyward Sword, because Skyward Sword, it just felt like filler, and gameplay wise, it's like literally just strumming back and forth in time with a circle, and it's the same tempo each time. So it's like it's literally every song is the same gameplay wise, and in the N64 games, it's like a perfect system where you're actually playing the notes. Wind Waker, they threw in the tempo part of it, so you had to do the right time signatures and stuff, but it was still like musically functional, like you're actually still doing it. Twilight Princess's wolf howling is pretty watered down, but it's just wolf howling, so it's excusable. And then Skyward Sword is just like completely bad. Even Spirit Tracks had a better musical instrument system than Skyward Sword, because you're still actually playing notes. If you play it on a DS, it's good. If you play it on the 3DS, the mic placement is...
Like the microphone's like on the bottom side, so when you're playing, you have to like literally do it like this. Because like you have to get the stick at the top, and you're like...
So, for the 3DS, that's where the mic is. So yeah, you have to do it like this.
It's not even.
And then on the original DS, it was in the middle. It was in the middle on the original DS.
On the original 3DS, you have a new one. On the original 3DS, it's like.
But you know what? Because actually, Rick's gonna stream this in, and
we were
if you play it on the Wii U,
his gold Lionel.
It's the same issue. If you play it on the Wii U, the mic is right here on the gamepad. And I remember when I never had problems playing Spirit Tracks on the DS. I had a DS Lite back in the day, and it worked really well for the flute in Spirit Tracks. But playing it, I played it on the Wii U for stream purposes myself. I think it was last year during the summer, and it was actually really difficult to play on the gamepad as well. Much to the amusement of the people watching my streams. They thought it was very funny with me being like, like blowing as hard as I can onto this gamepad, but also holding the stylus in front. It's very awkward That's the point. So bring back good musical playing, please. That does not require me fitting and blowing moist air onto my controller, please. So
I hope to bring back multiple instruments that have like their own variations of playing. So like you get the harp,
like,
you can get the
Majora's Mask.
yeah, sort of.
So yeah, the N64 games had it perfect. Majora's Mask gives you a bunch of instruments, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was truly wonderful.
So your question now, Daniel.
Oh, I should probably pick one out, shouldn't I? Let's see. That was a good question. Thank you, Natsu. This is another Patreon one, actually, so we'll do this. This is from Dragon Chi. Mailbag. Apologies if you've already answered this before. This is very much a question aimed at you, Jesse. But what are the chances of us getting the 3DS versions of Ocarina of Time on Switch? The N64 version for the online service is nice and all, but it's hard to back to that when a much better version exists. Better is subjective. But what do you think, Jesse? I know already, but the viewers don't necessarily.
I have full faith in a person, and yeah, that's I don't think the N64 versions really go against this, like the HD versions coming to Switch or being remade in HD, or however you want to put it. Like someone said that they wouldn't do, what was it? It was a comment someone left on Instagram, I believe, or maybe it was Twitter, because I posted the same thing to both. But they said that I forgot exactly the way they worded it, but they said it was something like after Super Mario 3D All-Stars, they're like, if the game's already available on that as part of the package, but then Nintendo's also giving it to you for free as part of this, doesn't it take away free. Yeah, well, it's like, doesn't it like take away from the value that collection had? And then yeah, like,
the 3D All-Stars version is still going to be better than the NOS version,
yeah,
than the Switch
it doesn't
Online.
crop it or whatever.
Yeah, and they actually did some touch-ups on the All-Stars version. It's really, really, really minimal, but there's mostly just like certain textures are touched up, and the HUD elements are touched up, and they're just using the original N64 ROM for the Switch Online version, so it's gonna not look quite. But I'm gonna say it's not gonna look as nice as the 3D All-Stars version, but you're probably not going to notice the difference unless you put them side by side and zoom in on like the HUD things, like the star counter. So it really doesn't matter, is what I'm trying to say.
The real question is,
it really doesn't matter.
Nintendo already has Twilight Princess running on Switch hardware in China, but
for the NVIDIA Shield?
Yeah, that's why I said Switch hardware instead of Switch. And it's running at a higher resolution than 1080p.
Right.
So it's like, if it's capable of doing that, and that's just like the GameCube version. It's like a mix between the GameCube and a Wii U version, because it still has the symbols of... No, I think they updated the HUD and everything, actually.
I think they updated the HUD, but not... Like the Twilight Princess HD on Wii U, they like redid textures. They like completely drew textures, and I don't think
it has all the tiers of lights as well.
Yeah, so I think the NVIDIA Shield version is the Wii version with HUD changes, but like they didn't do the quality of life improvements or the visual touch-ups. It's just boosted resolution.
The camera controls of the GameCube, so it's like a mix of all three. Like it's in HD, but it has all the original features. It has the camera control, but it's widescreen as well. So yeah, it's like a weird mix of all three.
Yeah, it's a Twilight Princess HD, or it is Twilight Princess in HD, but it's not Twilight Princess HD.
Yes.
Yes, because believe it or not, I have a video talking about this.
Oh, cool.
But there are many changes made to the HD version that I think the Wii U version of Twilight Princess, I think it makes it the best version until that is a newer one comes out eventually.
What are your thoughts on this Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask fiasco?
Well, first of all, someone asked a similar question earlier and said, do you think we'll get it this year? And I said no.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're getting anything new Zelda this year after Age of Calamity's DLC.
I think we'll get Zelda stuff. Like, I think there'll be more.
Think we're gonna get new
there's going to be more
announcements.
announcements. Yeah.
Release. Like, I don't think. Like, I think we're too close to the end of the year for them to come out saying like we're going to release this new Zelda remake.
Yeah.
Before the end. No,
I think we're going to get a couple trailers for non-Hyrule Warriors Zelda stuff.
Okay, but I think we will
releasing.
Get a version of Ocarina of Time that's like either the 3DS version or like an HD version eventually. I think it's a matter of time, but definitely not this year. That's what I'm sticking to. I think it's going to be a couple of years now, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably on the next console.
When I said Nintendo was going to wait after the Skyward Sword promotion stuff to mention another Zelda game, I did not think, like, I thought Nintendo would promote Skyward Sword for like 2 months maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think they were going to keep releasing new Skyward Sword themed stuff all the way up until the end of the year.
Yeah, there was like a very recent I noticed like some merch, like hoodies and stuff, not the Black Milk stuff, like the dresses that's not that collaboration.
The $200 for rich people.
Yeah, but for on like Nintendo's own My Nintendo accounts, sometimes you can get random merch from there, and they have like a line, and there's like a really, really beautiful hoodie that kind of matches the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons that went up there, and I'm like, just now, really? Like, it's surprising, but I'm shocked that they're still marketing it. Actually, like there's still trailers and Twitter postings and stuff that they're posting out for Skyward Sword. It is. They're actually marketing their products.
Who would have thought? They have some cool Metroid Dread stuff on their official website as well. But anyways, is it my question now?
Yeah, pick one.
Right,
maybe that'll be our last one before we wrap it up here.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any good? Do you see any good questions from the chat for the last question?
I do see Rick saying, "Are you telling me Breath of the Wild 2 isn't releasing this year?" Dislike and unsubscribing. No, we're just gonna perpetuate rumors that we don't even believe to be true.
I think it'll release within a year, but not this year.
Oh,
like a year from now, yeah, or within a year from now. Was that the real question?
No, that wasn't.
Oh.
No.
Jorge, the winner. The prize he wins is being the last question, if it's a good question. Question: what kind of addition has Daniel added onto his house after the sale of the Yiga clan and their banana empire?
Wait, what?
I don't know. No,
that's not what he. That's not what he brought.
What did he write? You're telling me you don't have a banana empire?
That's not what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you that's not what he wrote.
I'm always using that picture of the bananas on my head.
That's true. That's a great picture, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm confused by this question.
Aren't all of our pictures great pictures, though?
True. But okay, this is not the mailbag question, but I need to read this to you.
Okay.
Because I'm confused. Carlos YouTube asked, "Hey, when is Zelda came out when?" And I'm not. This is not me joking or insulting. I legit do not understand the question. Are you asking about when the original Zelda released or when the next Zelda game comes out?
Was the first one in 86?
'86. Yeah,
Oh,
1986.
He has a banana underground empire. He just legally
But
obliged to lie
I
to
do have a
us. Yeah, he has those NDAs with Nintendo.
NBAs, non-banana agreement. That's what I have. I have an NBDA, non-banana disclosure agreement.
Okay. No, so Jorge's real question. What kind of addition or additions to the lore would you like to add to Dan Hill's Banana Empire? Would you like Breath of the Wild 2 to make like more historical events, more cultures in Hyrule, maybe holiday stuff? What I would really like to see is the actual events from 100 years ago.
So not Age of Calamities
Yeah.
version of events?
I would like Nintendo to stay truthful to their marketing is what I would like.
That is legit.
Even when we had when we had Joe on to talk about Age of Calamity, we even like, does it follow the events? Who knows? 'Cause we had to like dance around it. So
yeah. Well, we didn't want to spoil it because it was brand new at that time. But
yeah, Daniel,
that was like a year ago. We should bring it back sometime. We should try and get all the cast members, not at once, but but anyway, not at once. Just to clarify, unless,
Well,
but
I still hold true to the. Never mind. Like it was the you know. Yeah, Daniel, this thing. What's up with this?
So, anyways, this question. Thank you, Jorge, for the question. Honestly, actually, I would like to see more culture stuff. Like, I love delving into the cultures of Hyrule. Like the Gerudo culture, I think, is the most fleshed out in Breath of the Wild, and it's really interesting. I love that stuff.
Wait, who? Which culture?
The Gerudo.
Oh, yeah,
they've got a really fleshed out culture in Breath of the Wild, and it's really fascinating. It's really interesting to see, right? And yeah, I just absolutely love that kind of thing. So I feel like we got to see more culture related stuff, more in depth, look at some of these other cultures, because we see like inklings of it with the Zora. For example, you've got the stone tablets. You learn about
the ancient
sort of
stone
history
tablets.
of making. Yes, actually, you learn about the history of like crafting armor for like your potential spouse in Zora culture, of Zora women creating armor for people as like a wedding proposal.
It wasn't
thing.
just a creepy thing Princess Ruto did, or maybe it was creepy and she was like, I don't want people to think I'm a creep, so then she just made everyone do it.
But there's even a story of why that's part of their culture, right? In that you read about, and
the old racist Zora judges you for it. It's like, you don't deserve that armor.
Yeah. You even get Zora racism. So the Zoras you get a bit of that with them.
They're
the
a well-rounded society.
Speaking of well-rounded, the Gorons, get it? They're round, but you don't see as much of their cultural stuff. You kind of get a good, sort of idea of it with some of their architecture and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just always find that stuff really interesting and really fascinating. And you get a bit more of it in creating a champion. It was talking about especially like the architecture.
The back of creating a champion has a lot of great history.
The back
stuff. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a great book. So yeah, absolutely. Like if I could pick any of those things, like I would absolutely love to see more culture stuff, because I'm fine with historical stuff being a little vague, but I love really observable things like that. Like you can go into Gerudo Town in Breath of the Wild and you can actually get a sense of their culture and their people and things like that, right? So it's cool. I like it a lot.
I like you.
What?
Yeah, we're just saying stuff we like. I like you. You're a good non-Zora.
Oh, thank you.
I would like to see
how unexpected.
Like the racist Zora break off and become like the river Zora that attack you.
Ooh, interesting.
And then like it sort of retcons why there were evil Zora long ago. Because it's like they're just racist. They hate Hylians.
Oh no!
Like there is no reason There is no logical reason. They're just racist.
Well, I think in the Oracle games, they like did try to differentiate the two Zora types, right? They had like the River Zora and so there is that, right? But yeah, they must have split off at some point to like sort of and then continue to sort of evolve apart.
Yeah. I want more history on Laurelin Village.
I love Laurelin Village.
Not the not Twilight Mirror. Like, why do we have to fix it? What is it? Like, I'm sure, like, chances are low that it is a Twilight Mirror, but there are other mirror things that are magical that do stuff. Like the mirror in A Link to the Past that makes you not a bunny, I think. Or no, it teleports you.
The mirror teleports you in A Link to the Past from the dark world into the light world.
Yeah.
Or to the dungeon entrance that you're in.
So it would be really cool if they did a thing to where, even if it's not the Twilight Mirror, if it is a mirror that takes you to, like, whether it's the Sacred Realm or something else.
The Sacred Realm would be something I would really be interested in exploring.
Yeah, because people think in the sky will be the Sacred Realm.
I don't think it will be.
I don't either. But some people think that. I've seen videos.
Of course. I can see how people might think that, but I don't agree. But the Sacred Realm would be really cool to explore, because the only time we've really gotten to explore it is A Link to the Past, because the Dark World is the Sacred Realm, but it was corrupted by Ganon.
And it's no longer the Dark World, right? Because in A Link Between Worlds, it's all cloudy.
Right, so what happens is at the end of the game, Link, when he wishes upon the Triforce, the Dark World is restored and becomes the Sacred Realm again. And so, yeah, that's why you see it in its normal state in A Link Between Worlds. So we see a glimpse of it in A Link Between Worlds, like one balcony, and that's it. My headcanon is that we see it in Skyward Sword, but that's only a theory, it's not confirmed. But I believe that...
Tell me.
Here's a bit of theory time. Okay. My belief about the Sacred Realm is that the Silent Realm in Skyward Sword is the Sacred Realm, because like the Sacred Realm or the Dark World that we see, it's a alternate dimension that is a parallel world to Hyrule, basically. Including all like the building, the terrain, the layout is identical to Hyrule, right? Except things are a little different. It's a little more ethereal, whatever. That's
like the reverse of the Dark World.
Right, except it's the Silent Realm, but it's actually the Sacred Realm. And that's why
the Silent Realm. Okay.
I'm saying the Silent Realm is the Sacred Realm. Oh. That's my belief. And that they're the same place, just different name, from a different era.
What?
And that's why, here's a spoiler. So, spoiler warning, anybody watching, I'm sure everybody in the chat already knows this. When you get the Triforce in Skyward Sword, in Skykeep, the rooms you obtain them in, you transport into what looks like the Silent Realm, like a room in the Silent Realm, but there's the Triforce there, which the Triforce should be in the Sacred Realm. That's everything we know about Zelda lore, is the Triforce is in the Sacred Realm. So you go there into what looks like the Silent Realm that you've already been to, but it's the Triforce is there. So that's why I think it's the Sacred Realm. But there's more. When Link collects all three pieces of the Triforce in Skyward Sword, the atmosphere of the Silent Realm changes. It literally goes from like ethereal blue atmosphere to gold. Like everything turns gold, and then you're warped out, and that's at the end of what we see of it in the game.
Do you remember what I told you the Japanese name for the Silent Realm was?
No. Oh wait, Siren Realm, I think is what it's called in Japan, or Siren, something like that. I believe it is. But further to that, so everything turns gold. What's the Sacred Realm called in A Link to the Past? The Golden Lands. The Golden Lands. And so it was transformed from the Golden Lands into the Dark World. Now, that's because when whoever basically the thing is, whoever touches the Triforce, the Sacred Realm changes to reflect what's in their heart. So when Link collects the Triforce in Skyward Sword, it changes to the Golden Land, because it reflects Link's purity of heart and the spirit of the hero. When Ganon collects the Triforce in the Downfall timeline, it becomes the Dark World to reflect his heart. Then later, when Link in A Link to the Past defeats Ganon, in A Link to the Past, he claims the Triforce again, and the Dark World changes, but not back to a golden land. It changes to a lush green land with blue skies, just like we see in A Link Between Worlds when we go to the Sacred Realm. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, everybody. This is Zelda Theory Time with Daniel.
So
Jorge says the ninjas are coming for me.
No, so
but Jesse, I can't hear you now. I touched my microphone just ever so slightly.
Hello, you hear me? Hello? Hello? I can't hear you now. Daniel? Don't make all these people just look at my pretty face. You need to be here too.
There. See, I wanted to do like the equivalent of a mic drop, but my mic's actually on a stand, so I just like touched and then like my audio completely cut out. So.
I was trying to look up. I know I wrote an article for Zelda Dungeon, but I couldn't find any of them. Talking about what was it? I want to say they called it the Spirit Realm at first when they were like original translations from Japan.
Right.
Just like the master mode was spicy mode or whatever.
Spicy mode.
Yeah, because like at first I thought it was
being like Siren Realm though.
But I looked it up. Like a new article from like this year called it that, but I was trying to look up ones before 2012 when the world ended.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I hope everybody
I think you're spot on with that. I want to say that like all of our speculation on Breath of the Wild 2, I get comments like at least 2 or 3 a week from people being like who think that because we mostly talk about Breath of the Wild 2 and rumors and stuff, that some of our friends tells us stuff that we've had on the channel. And
okay.
I'm like, no, the only I'm just telling everyone now, the only thing that any of our friends who are working on or a part of Breath of the Wild 2 are doing is watching our videos and laughing at how wrong we probably are.
But the more you deny it, the more they just will be like, he's lying to cover his butt. He is lying. Oh, yeah, so there is that too. But yeah, I would love to see something with this. The Sacred Realm is a topic that really, really fascinates me, that I'm a little obsessive about. So I would absolutely love it too if we could see
never explored
something related to that. What did I just say? Were you even listening?
No, I don't know what you said, but I'm like, this was a new original thought I had.
Okay.
Like, but I feel like you were trying to get somewhere with what you were saying. But
I wanted. What I'm saying is, I want to explore the Sacred Realm in Breath of the Wild 2, because things like that and the Triforce are like very glossed over in Breath of the Wild.
They are very
barely shiny. They're very shiny. They're not matte. They're glossy. So
it's almost as if they emit their own light.
Yes, they do. But it's something we don't see them talk about like at all. And Zelda's sealing power, which is implied sort of to have a connection to the Triforce, is not explained very well in the game. So I want to see that stuff fleshed out, because I'm very curious about it. It's absolutely fascinating. Words, Jesse.
I'm trying to think if there's any other lore that I would like. Like there's the racist Zora. Like I really want to know what happened. Like did he think he was going to marry the princess?
I don't know.
Like was there an episode of The Bachelor Zora edition, and then like she's like, no, like I'm going with the non-fish boy.
Oh no.
Someone earlier mentioned how odd it was that like the Zoras like take their own scales to make clothes.
And that's the Zoras use their own scales to make clothes. Maybe they like molt their skin and they don't want to waste it. That's gross though.
Maybe they're more like snakes.
It's kind of. I hope they're hygienic.
Or
but
like the Rito that's like
the Rito used their feathers to make clothes and beds though.
No, like I'm saying like we're gonna steal scales from the dragon we worship.
Oh, in Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like they're gifted, right? But that's even still really weird.
They should at least have a dragon flying around the Rito village in Breath of the Wild.
Like any way you look at it, it's weird when like a dragon gives you his scale.
Or if
like here's some of my
bird.
skin. Here's some of my skin, man.
Yeah, like there's too much. There's too much water, so the fish have to turn into birds to get away from it.
Like, there's theories about that too.
It's like, it's salt water, not normal water. It's like, yeah, but if they can turn into birds, they could adapt to salt water.
Yeah, that's a bigger leap. My headcanon is that the gods turned them into birds to stop them from finding
no
Hyrule.
Underwater exploration here, so you're all birds now.
And they said Link can't use iron boots in the water in this game, and you can't swim either.
Yeah.
You are bird now.
So we got Racist Zora, Sacred Realm, Larulian Village. I know what everyone's thinking.
Banana.
Close.
Yiga. Banana.
Not as close.
Sheikah. Banana.
No, you could have been further off. The Z word.
Zunari, the merchant from Wind Waker, and he gives you a sail.
Zunari?
Zunari.
No, I was thinking of, believe it or not, the Zonai.
No!
Yeah, I know.
Jesse! There wasn't even a swirl on screen.
No, I give up. I don't know. What I'm thinking is the quote from the one trivia thing that we did, where I think it's in Hyrule Historia. Not Hyrule Historia. It was 5 years before the game came out. And
in what?
Creating a Champion. They say something about, I think it's in Creating a Champion, or it could just be a random interview, where they said that they put the Zonai in the game just to make the world
like a mysterious.
Yeah, like they literally put it in the game to be a mysterious race, to make the world feel more fleshed out.
Right.
Like that was literally their purpose, is to just make the world more fleshed.
Jesse, look. I have a Zonai notebook.
I see that.
it's a Zonai notebook.
$2 from Takers610. I seen him in your chat, Daniel. He gives you money too.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, Taker's great.
Beetle's Ganon's spy in Breath of the Wild. The truth comes out.
No.
So explain the disappearance from the Gorons from Death Mountain and Wind Waker. Did they piss off Valu or something?
That's a good question. Well, because the Gorons are in the game. They're drifters.
Yeah, the Rito came and was like, get out.
They're like, we're this is our land now. We are settlers.
Yeah.
We are colonizing this mountain.
Jeez.
And
getting a little dark.
And they drove out the Gorons, and the Gorons couldn't fight them. Because they couldn't swim. They can't swim, so they were helpless.
Here's something I've been thinking since we did the last trivia thing, where it's like the Ordon village wasn't originally in Twilight Princess, but then you have the Deku symbol all over the Forest Temple. Mm-hmm. Do you think they did have the Kokiri in there? And because like Ordon village wasn't where Ordon village is, like there was something else there, since it wasn't intended to even be in the game. But Link still starts out in the house, like the tree house, and the Deku symbol is still everywhere, and the layout is sort of similar, and it still has the Lost Woods and everything. So do you think they literally replaced, like they had Kokiri Forest there, but then they were like, oh, fans at E3, they really like this Ordon village, we should put that in the game somewhere. And they're like, where could we put it? Let's just replace
It's hard to say because the thing is, like, if the world map of Twilight Princess, Ordon Village is like really isolated from everything else. Like almost the whole map is like a circle, and then
so
Ordon Village like sticks out from the bottom. Do you know what I mean? Like it just.
Yeah, but then there's also like the Lost Woods and stuff in that area too, though. And
that's true. That's true.
Like
it's hard to say though because it can move so much.
You have to go over the bridge. Like it doesn't connect to proper Hyrule and Ocarina of Time either. Like you have to cross the bridge to get there.
That's true. It's really hard to say because they could just shift so many things around.
You cross the bridge to get to Ordon.
You're right. I know. It's just like if you think about Breath of the Wild, for example, they changed like Kakariko and the Lost Woods locations in that game. They like swapped them completely. So if they can do that, like they could move a game like Twilight Princess, which is much more simple in its world layout.
They created it all in like partitions and then connected it all together.
Exactly. So it would be like way easier for them to just like move villages and stuff around, right?
Yeah.
Because everything's so much more isolated.
Yeah. Like, did you mention Breath of the Wild where they swapped? Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. No, I know you said something, but I was taking credit for it.
But so it's hard to say. It's hard to say. But like, I'm not a game developer. I don't know how these things work. So I'm just an enthusiast.
Rick in the chat says, so you're saying the people of Ordon killed the Kokiri, right?
No. I think the Kokiri are still around. We just don't see them in game. I think they're just far in the woods, hidden. They don't want to. Like No, I hate that theory. The Kokiri did not turn into monkeys. But I think that it could be they've already turned into Koroks. And we know from Breath of the Wild that most people can't see Koroks.
Yeah.
So it's possible that
just blind.
He's not cool enough to see them. Or
he doesn't have the Korok mask. That's the problem.
Or they didn't pull a prank on anybody and steal things out of someone's musical instruments. So there's no reason to
for
them to be hiding everywhere.
The Link in Ocarina of Time could have possibly only seen the Koroks because the Deku Tree or the Koroks let them, because his mom went there and specifically spoke to the tree to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we're thinking too far into this.
But I think like the Koroks and the Kokiri, as far as their relationships with other races go, they're far more isolated. And Link is like in a couple of games is the exception. In Ocarina of Time, he grew up there, so he knows where their village is and stuff. But most people don't. And then Breath of the Wild, that's again a whole other story. So I think for the most part, in the context of games like Twilight Princess, I think they're around. Just Link never sees them because they're hidden in the woods somewhere. They've got their settlement somewhere that just like most people wouldn't ever go to.
Envy in the chat, your biggest fan says, I hate the monkey theory too.
There you go. The monkey theory. And it's funny because people used to be like, well, there's the Kokiri symbols on the monkey's arms. But then it totally isn't. It's not the Kokiri symbol at all. It's like just some random symbol. So
I tried making I put together a video that was like a collection of different Twilight Princess theories. And I think that was one of the things that I added onto it.
The monkey one? Or a different theory?
The monkey one.
Yeah, they're not the monkeys.
And the Kokiri symbol. No, I was going to add the Kokiri symbol on the monkey is what it was, because something else mentioned it, and I was going to add it, and then I zoomed in, and it wasn't there, and I was like...
What? Because it's not!
I was like, this is why we do
remember
research.
Seeing that. I remember seeing people like talk about that, and they're like, well, the monkeys have the Kokiri symbol on their arm. And I'm like, that's not it. That's not what that symbol is.
This is why we do research, because we might come across something that says something, and then we look into it, and it's like, that's totally not it.
Yeah.
So there was one thing.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce this. I apologize. Makiana, humanoid, I think, says, yeah, Dragon Roost literally Death Mountain. Valu showed up and was like, GTFO. So, similar to that, because of the Goron's fear of Volvagia, if a new fire-breathing dragon did show up to Death Mountain, then they would have been like, yeah, let's GTFO.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe they're like, oh, not this again.
And then the Ritos would have been like, hey, there's already a caves here. Let's just live here.
Let's just live here.
Yeah.
It just got washed up on shore, Link's Awakening style.
Maybe that could be a quick theory thing if you do another one.
Maybe.
Which, by the way, everyone, Jesse here on his channel, 𝗏𝗏 has... no, Daniel on his channel, 𝗏𝗏 has a couple different videos of top 10 quick Zelda theories, micro theories.
Yeah, I've got one that's 10, and then another that's 5. And that's it.
Next
so 15,
20.
15 theories in 2
Double
videos.
Each time.
But I started with 10 and I went down to 5. So next one I'm gonna have 2.5 theories.
Okay.
It's gonna get halfway through and I'm gonna be like, that's it.
So the Gorons left Death Mountain because thanks for coming to the channel, guys.
Yes.
No, so Daniel, we've been here for a while.
Yes.
We were here so long. Geek left us again.
She did.
So where can people find you? What do they look for on your channel? How many bananas does it take to join to be a member of your team? What are they called? Yiga? I forget.
Yoga, actually.
The
yoga clan. Yeah, and all of my social medias are at 𝗏𝗏_𝗏𝗏. That's 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I know how to spell my own username. Think of it like there's the captain. That's a literal burger, and that's my dad. And yes. So that's who I am. But yeah, if you like Zelda dungeons, things like that, I do have a lot of videos about Zelda dungeons. I have just started into Twilight Princess dungeons. Mm-hmm. But we actually talked about the Forest Temple and the monkeys a bit in one of my videos as well. I was a little behind schedule with one of my videos. I'm going to tell you a sad story, Jesse.
Okay, yeah, okay. Sure.
Okay.
I was going to say the best part of the video is that you named, not spoilers, guys, but pretty big deal. There's a horse named after me.
That's true. I did name my horse in Twilight Princess after Jesse.
You only get one.
You only get one.
This isn't
Breath of the Wild. So here's the sad story. So I finished that video for the first Twilight Princess dungeon, the Forest Temple, and I started working on my video for the second dungeon, the Goron Mines.
Yeah,
and I was on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have like a self-imposed schedule because this is YouTube. It's not like I have a boss with a deadline. So I was on my self-imposed schedule. I finished, brainstorming some ideas usually, and then I'll actually, pretty big deal, pretty important thing. I'll play the dungeon and record it because I need. That's kind of an important part of analyzing the dungeon, but also I need the footage for the video. So I finished that, and then it turns out that Game Capture Elgato didn't save the recording of the footage. But you know how when you finish a dungeon, HD60S Plus. It's like one of the new ones.
Oh, I was gonna say Once Upon a Time we were sponsored by Elgato.
Oh, so it didn't save the footage I recorded for the dungeon. But you know how when you're playing the game at the end of the dungeon, it just prompts you, do you want to save?
Oh.
I hit yes.
I think I know what happened here. You pressed
So
yes.
I saved my game, which means, but this footage I recorded didn't record, which means to record that footage,
you had to play through the game and beat it and start over?
I had to start over my save file. I didn't have to beat the game first. I just had to start over. But so I'm a little behind schedule because of that. So I have some other stuff coming out in the meantime while I catch up to where I was supposed to be. Thankfully, it was only the second dungeon, thankfully. But man, I was choked. Like, I was really upset. So that video is a little bit delayed, we're going to say. But I've got a couple videos coming out in the meantime, including one about Bruce. That's all you need to know.
I heard about this.
He's on the loose.
I have access to this video, I'm told.
you do. But yeah, definitely go check out my channel, everybody. I've got lots of Zelda videos. If you like Zelda dungeons, if you like really deep dive analysis of Zelda dungeons, that's my main thing. But I do other stuff too. So, and also I've been streaming Metroid Dread. It was a really fun time.
People in the chat earlier were asking for a Metroid Dread review.
I may or may not do that. So.
Yeah. What he will do is talk about the game as he streams it. Or you can rewind about an hour and a half. And there's like a good 30 minutes of Daniel talking about Metroid Dread. Or you can just message Daniel and be like, hey, what do you think about Metroid Dread?
That's what some people have been doing, honestly. And I've been replying. So
yeah, it's almost as dangerous as asking him his thoughts on Majora's Mask 3D.
Oh boy.
No, so
oh boy.
You got everything? Yeah.
That's everything for me, guys. So I think Jesse put all my links in the description there. Go take a little gander.
𝗵𝗲 also has a YouTube channel she's been doing stuff on, so we added that as well. As always, my name is Jack. I like to chase, what are they called?
This again?
Squirrels? Raccoons?
Raccoons.
Yeah. But I use my superpowers because I have a multitude of them. I can shoot lasers from my eyes, as you know.
Naturally.
Yeah, he found out when we were in LA. I can also like walk through walls, and then I have other powers, but I don't really know what they are because my body can't decide.
He becomes fire. That's a big one.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
that's how you get the raccoons to come to you.
Yes, correct.
I think that's it. Yeah. Everything. Game Over Jesse. You can go to iTunes. Please go to iTunes. You can leave a review. Actually, Daniel.
Yes.
What game are you planning on doing after Twilight Princess? While I see if we have a review on iTunes.
I am kind of debating with myself because I've already done Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword. So after Twilight Princess, that's kind of the end of the big 3D Zeldas that are not Breath of the Wild. I may or may not do Breath of the Wild Dungeon Time, so I might jump back to some 2D games. But I might take a short dungeon design break after Twilight Princess to focus on some other stuff first. So we'll see.
It's a good thing I checked because we do have a new review from October the 2nd from 𝗟𝗵𝗃𝗄𝗃. It says Jesse is so knowledgeable and his crew is very intelligent about the topics. 5 stars. Definitely recommend listening to these great people. You can tell they really are knowledgeable about the facts on their topics. Thank you.
That's a lovely review. Thank you.
Yeah, they gave 5 stars as well. We almost have 55 stars. We were 1 away. So thank you, everyone. We have a total of 30 reviews.
Incredible.
Maybe it's good enough to get into E3 this time. If only we could ever make it to E3. No,
if E3 exists time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. Everything at Game Over Jesse, at 𝗵𝗲, at 𝗵𝗲 son of Burger, at The Geek Apprentice, or TGA Geekdom, I think is the other one. Go leave a review on iTunes, and we will read it out loud at the beginning of the video next time. If you've already left a review, make a new account, leave another review. And check out Daniel's streams and Geek's streams and Tube's streams, and the only streams I do is the podcast. And is there anything else?
We love you.
Debatable.
Donate to Game Over Jesse so he can get a font other than Helvetica.
Yeah. You have to remember, Rick is watching.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
We love Rick too.
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm sorry. We love you, Rick. Thanks for watching. Sorry you weren't able to beat Daniel like I was hoping. But it's okay, because it turned out a bunch of other people did.
That's true.
Yeah. But good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. Daniel, you have a final message you want to say to everyone. What was it?
Ring, 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 ring. Banana phone. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Banana phone. I've got a feeling it's so appealing. I forget the rest of the words. Banana phone.
You know, we have a few friends that tell us they listen to this in their car. And I can just imagine